everyone, Ashley Esqueda here at the entrance to Nintendo Live 2023 Seattle. We are so excited to talk to some attendees, do a little vibe check out here, find out how everybody's feeling, take the temperature of everyone, and maybe have a little fun in the process. Let's go. I am so excited to have found a bokoblin and Tingle on the show floor at Nintendo Live 2023 Seattle. Do you have a bokoblin impression that you could give us? That I feel like you got one in there. It's just like I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom right now. I feel like I'm in the game. Tingle, long time no see. You're looking very well. How's your Nintendo Live going?
Fabulous.
Now, are you both newcomers to The Legend of Zelda as a series, or have you been longtime fans?
Longtime fans. She got me into it. I've been a fan since Ocarina of Time.
What are you excited to see? What have you seen that has been really cool?
Well, the resident good boy at the Pikmin exhibit is pretty top-notch. I would go take some photos with resident good boy.
Tell me a little bit about how long you've been playing Splatoon for.
So like last year I got my Nintendo Switch, and then around 2 months later I saw my dad secretly playing Splatoon behind my back, and I told him, hey, can I join? I played a lot of Turf Wars, started some Anarchy, and I really love Salmon Run.
Oh, Salmon Run is so much fun. Now, what's your favorite weapon to use?
Oh, I have two. I have the custom jet squelcher. I love how fast it is to defeat enemies. It's only like 4 shots, and the range is good, and that kind of makes up for the low amount of ink it produces.
Can you do a little catch you later in your best inkling voice? Oh, that was amazing! Hello, my friends. Fancy meeting you here on this lovely island. What are your names and where are you from?
I'm Brent from San Diego.
And I'm Lannis from San Diego.
Well, welcome to Nintendo Live 2023 Seattle. We're excited to have you here. Aside from this incredible Animal Crossing booth, what else are you looking forward to seeing on the show floor?
I definitely want to see Kirby, so that's what I'm here for.
I have seen actual Kirby. Like you can take a picture with him. What else are you like really looking forward to seeing on the show floor?
I've seen a lot of people in costumes, and it's been really cool. There's like kids of all ages here, and it's just been really awesome to see people show their excitement for Nintendo. And we saw a Toad just walk by now, so that's pretty cool.
Can only say Toad just walked by at Nintendo Live. Okay, last thing, I'm gonna ask you to do your best Mario impersonation. Okay, you ready? Go ahead.
It's me, Mario.
Hey, that's pretty good. I like that. Okay, your turn.
It's me, Mario.
She was better. Oh, excuse me, sir. Do you mind talking to me about Nintendo Live? You look excited to be here.
I am excited to be here.
What's your favorite thing here at Nintendo Live?
Everything.
Wait a minute. You look really familiar. Are you Doug Bowser? Doug, you gotta get out of here. I gotta talk to attendees. Welcome to Nintendo Live. What's your name?
Christian.
Excellent. And what's your name, Mom?
Mom.
Your name's Mom. Love that. What's your favorite thing that you've seen so far?
Probably Super Mario Wonder.
Did you have fun changing into an elephant?
Yeah.
That was my favorite part. What's your favorite Nintendo game of all time?
Probably Kirby and Forgotten Land, right? Wait, no, the new Zelda game.
Oh, Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, you got a Tears of the Kingdom fan here. For you as a mom, has it been really fun to come here and check out all the Nintendo things happening?
Oh, absolutely. It was really fun to play the new game that's not out yet and see all the characters, and Kirby is my favorite.
You got a lot of street cred now. What do you have to say to your fellow competitors out there?
Well, I'm just hoping we all have a good time, even though we're all going up against each other. I'm just looking for a good fight, you know? Wishing everyone the best of luck.
Whether it's to play your favorite game, to play for school pride, or for the thrill of competition. Play competitively with Play Versus. Visit playvs.com today for more information.
From Nintendo Live directly to you, it's the Nintendo vs. Splatoon 3 High School Exhibition. We have a wonderful set for you between two Seattle area high schools, the O'Day High School Fighting Irish and the Bishop Blanchette High School Bears. My name is Ninehole Grange, reprising the role of the spray-by-spray commentator, and joining me two of the finest Splatalists in all of the Splatlands, and hey, a couple of friends up here doing our thing. It is Shiny Hunter, Zach, and Milana. Folks, give them a hand. Zach, I'm going to get this started by tossing it to you because this is such a great opportunity for these students to represent their game, themselves, and their schools.
You know, I was thinking about before the broadcast how we were kind of born in the wrong generation a little bit. We missed the opportunity to participate in these during our upbringing during school, and we know that the youth is the foundation of this competitive community. It's where a lot of the teeth get cut, as you like to say, and to be able to varsity in something like this and even go to state at Splatoon 3 is truly amazing.
It's a great opportunity, and Milana, as an educator yourself, you know what these types of programs mean to students. You can connect with friends, you can find out what it is you enjoy most. What is it like for these kids?
I've just seen it firsthand. You know, the community that it builds within these, you know, the students, the school life. It just is so heartwarming to see students getting to make friends because they like Smash or because they like Splatoon. So it's really cool.
Well, if you're unfamiliar with how Splatoon 3 plays, maybe you're a parent, a grandparent, a sibling, don't you worry, we've got you covered with a nice rule set graphic here that will keep things easy for you. In our exhibition, it's going to be a best of 5 games. There was a coin flip earlier for which team got to choose the first stage. The loser of the previous game will get to choose the next stage, and we will show you all of the game modes. Game 1 is going to be Turf War. Game 2, Rainmaker. Game 3, Splat Zones. Game 4 and 5, if necessary, will be on Tower Control and Clambits, respectively. And don't worry, we'll let you know all about those game modes as we approach them. But first, we also have to give a major shout-out to the group that partnered up with Nintendo in this scholastic partnership. High schoolers level up with Play Versus this year. Sign up to compete in high school competitive gaming leagues featuring Nintendo favorites Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 3, and Super Smash Bros. There is a lovely graphic here, a QR code that you can scan if you are ready to game. But the crowd is cheering here. Our competitors have entered the stage. And, you know, Zach, as the teams get set up here, it does appear that O'Day has already stepped out. There's a lot of pressure on these players, but we talked to them in the backstage. They are excited. A round of applause here for O'Day High School.
Yeah, I think they're feeling pretty loose, honestly. They seemed like very confident. They were sharing stories, some of their best moments in Anarchy or in Ranked, and they were really enjoying just being here. And they've been talking strategy as well. It's not just about the fun of the event. I think they really have nailed down, especially for Turf War, which is kind of the basis of that play. It's where you sort of really learn the aspects of the game. That's why I like that we're starting on it here in Game 1, and why it's a guaranteed game mode here, that we're going to get to see our first impression of both of these teams in that basic Turf War mode.
It's going to be O'Day on the left side and Bishop Blanchette on the right side. Milana, we got to talk with Bishop Blanchette in the back. To say that they were excited would be an understatement here, but Zach mentioned Turf War here, so let's dive into a brief discussion of the fundamental game mode here in Turf War. You're going to be trying to cover as much of each of these stages as you can within a 3-minute time limit. Milana, you've been playing this game an awful long time. What are some of the strategies that these kids are going to employ here in our Turf War game?
So you really want to start with what kind of weapons you want to pick for Turf War. Turf War, because we want to cover that floor with your color ink, you want to think about, are the weapons that I pick able to do that effectively? So we might see something like a Splash-O-Matic, something like a Splatter Shot coming out from either of these high schools.
And again, if you are unfamiliar with Splatoon, maybe this is your first time seeing it, you might see some buckets out there, you might see a paint roller, you might see what looks to be a windshield wiper. I promise that these are all portions of the game, and it's one of the reasons we like it so much. But we got over the microphone there, Zach. We are going to be going to Eeltail Alley, one of the launch maps here in Splatoon 3. This is a very narrow map, but it has a deceptively large amount of turfable area.
Yeah, to kind of jump off to what Milana was talking about, I love the fact that when you start out in your Splatoon journey, you're given a lot of weapons that work really well in a mode like this one. And let's take a look at the compositions here as we get started with Game 1 between O'Day High School and Bishop Blanchette. We see some folks like Ice going to be on the Forge Splattershot Pro, running a bit of quick respawn as well. And on the opposite side of things, some great painting shooters in that vanilla Splash-O-Matic as well as the NZAP 85.
Yeah, no kidding, Milana. You said earlier a lot of people would like to play different shooter weapons. One of these teams, O'Day, running what we would call a quad shooter composition. These weapons put out so much turf so very quickly, and you can see already it can be very punishing if you get caught in a bad spot.
It certainly can, and like we just saw right there, Splatoon getting splatted, unfortunately, not being able to avoid that splat, unlike their name.
Great work thus far here. Both of these teams in the opening staking their claim in the middle of the map. In Turf War, we will often see 1 or 2 players sit back towards what we call the spawn area of a map, get that portion of the map, make sure that you have that as a solid foundation. Remember, this is not a cumulative score. It is who has the lead at the end of 3 minutes. Crab Tank, one of the special weapons in Splatoon 3, firing over at Ice Ice, who is in the Booyah Bomb, another special weapon. They will trade positions on the map here as we see Ness now working over and putting out that tactical cooler. Zach, this is a special that has received a lot of love as of late, but come on, you know that high schoolers love their soda.
Yeah, a lot of visuals coming up on your screen regarding that tactical. You might see some squids say refreshing, meaning that they've consumed a drink. And what that does is it gives you a plethora of benefit. It increases your movement speed. It allows you to retain that special that you've built up over time if you happen to go down. So really important. And if you happen to see any arrows next to those squids while they're moving, you know that they're received that buff.
For the time being, again, still pretty even here, Milana. I thought for a moment O'Day and that nice indigo color may have gotten an opening, but Hejou is actually going to move straight forward with that Crab Tank and take another out. One of the teammates, though, did go down right in front. Again, they're still fighting over the center of this map as we enter the last 60 seconds.
But you know, Nine, like, Turf War is often played pretty casually because every splat that goes down is going to be detrimental for your team. So you really want to play it very carefully, maybe until the last 30 seconds of the map.
The up-tempo of the music means it's now or never. Everything magnified at this stage in the game. O'Day does a great job there. Necro here piloting this splatter shot, getting another player down, retreating back, making sure not to commit a critical mistake. Zach Splatoon here with this Crab Tank if they get value out of this, and they do, taking out Glitch. This is an opportunity.
Yeah, so that Crab Tank is going to have 2 possible firing modes. They're going to get taken down, however, just after the Crab Tank. You have your main fire and the second fire. Necro, they're going to find 2, including on the Crab Tank that had just dropped. They're going to look for a third here, trying to use that big bubbler as a giant shield in order to stay away, but there's Splatoon going to fall once again. Ode High School really breaking out of it here in mid.
The tide suddenly turning an even game now with only the final 10 seconds. Necro swimming back to make sure that no one comes through here. Hejou had moved all the way back and was taken out again. Now Ice Ice will do a great job of turfing this side. A couple of members have broken into the middle here as we click down to 0. Let's take a look. What does our furry friend Judd have to show? Oh, this is close. And it will be O'Day High School taking game 1 here in our best of 5. Ooh, a deep breath here from these players there as they finally realize, okay, that's game 1. This is a best of 5. They've gotten the job done thus far. And Zach, we say so often, again, the last 30 seconds of Turf War, it really was at about that 35-second mark. An incredible Trizuka. They got 2 players down, they sensed the moment, and they moved forward.
Yeah, well, part of it revolves sort of around what we call special cycling, where multiple members are using their specials at the right time so that they can build another one up toward the end of the game in that last 30 seconds. So that's why you saw, especially on O'Day's side, them popping a couple of their specials at around the 45-40-second mark, so that around the 20 or 15-second mark, they were able to use them again as long as they stayed up. The tactical of health helping if they did go down to retain some of that, but as long as they stayed in the middle and were able to make an impact, Bishop and Chet just didn't have enough time to get back in and really affect the middle of the zone, and that's what won it over there for O'Day.
Yeah, running out of time, and we will now move to our very first of our ranked modes. As Milana said, more of a casual game mode is typically how Turf War is seen, but we're going to move into Rainmaker right now. You can see it right there. Carry the Rainmaker to the pedestal in the enemy's base. This is such an incredible fast-paced mode. Some would liken it to a capture-the-flag-esque game, but if neither team reaches the goal, the team with the shortest distance to the goal wins. Milana, capture the flag. You know they're going to be carrying something, that beautiful golden fish, the Rainmaker here. What do these teams have in store with this mode?
So this mode, like you said, is so fast-paced. It is a little bit different than past games where they have added another checkpoint, so in an attempt to kind of slow the pace of the game down. However, because you are carrying this, you have kind of one teammate down holding on to that Rainmaker, and you have to be able to kind of push ahead and look ahead for that Rainmaker carrier to move forward.
Yeah, the Rainmaker is such a dangerous thing to be carrying in a bad spot, but this is also a weapon. When your inkling grabs it, they are not totally out of the fight yet, Zach. They can lob variable cannonballs of ink that can take people out if they're not aware.
But that power comes with a cost. You know, once you pick up that Rainmaker, you have 60 seconds at maximum until you ink-splode, whereas you basically cover the ground at your feet in the enemy's ink color. So you really have to make effective use of that time. And that's where the sort of protect the president mentality comes in for your other 3 members to make sure that A, that person's grabbing it at the optimal time, and that the other 3 go ahead to make sure that an optimal defense can be had.
That familiar jingle lets you know that we are on to game 2. The counter pick from Bishop Blanchette was onto Hagglefish Market. And of course, we are going to be on Rainmaker here. This is one of the most beloved maps in all of competitive Splatoon 3. Milana, take a look at these compositions. We have from Necro there an E-Liter. We haven't even talked about this classic weapon.
So an E-Liter is the longest range weapon in the game. And, you know, this E-Liter specifically is unscoped, which means that it really gives you a lot of mobility to be able to snipe your opponents from afar.
In that last game, you saw that they really had to play the entire map as their objective, covering as much as they can. Here on Rainmaker, as a great shot comes through here from Splatoon on that Inkjet, another special that I'm sure we'll talk about more. You'll see that there isn't going to be nearly as much turf coverage here because they are trying to run directly for the enemy base. Another pop of that mighty Rainmaker shield as Soap Eater pulls out that Ultra Stamp to try to go through. Hold on a minute, Ness running it right forward. Oh my goodness! All the way down to 1. They've stopped. That was almost a 45-second game. Zach, the threat is not yet gone. Your hands are on your head.
You may have heard the phrase in sports, odd man rush, and that's exactly what happened there. The 3-down situation forced at the beginning of that is what allowed the Rainmaker to go all the way down to 1, which is going to mean for O'Day High School, they have to get a knockout if they want to take this game. Fortunately, they were able to stop that Rainmaker just before the pedestal, and it seems like, at least for now, they've got things under control. But Ness coming in the backline, Soap Eater as well, trying to make something happen, and it's now 3v3 on either side.
Yeah, they managed to track where Ness was running here. Ness was hiding. One of the wonderful things about this game is you have seen, of course, these wonderful Inklings putting their ink onto the ground. You can actually hide. If you do not move, the opponent cannot track you or see you. So everything that these players have to keep track of, truly a difficult task. They are trying to push that Rainmaker back out to the center of the stage and have not been able to do so. The threat's still not yet gone for O'Day.
Certainly not. And, you know, but like you said, really could be anybody's game. It might be a difficult push back, but, you know, with that pick on Heju, they might be able to kind of move forward because they don't have that oppressive, you know, force of the Splatana.
Yep, they've done a great job here of closing it out. They can take a nice breath here. Still 3 minutes left in the game. Plenty of time to make some action happen. Ness doing a great job again, covering that flank area, Zach. No funny business happening here. And this is where Rainmaker can be very frustrating to play. You know that some members of your team have to move forward, but if you move too far forward, you leave your Rainmaker carrier exposed.
Yeah, we're back to what we sort of call the neutral game, where both teams are sort of fighting control over mid, and they're using plenty of specials. We saw the Ultra Stamp and the Inkjet come out. Ice using one of my favorite weapons, and the Tri-Slosher is going to go down as a result. We see Heiju moving forward with that buff from the Tactical, is going to pop the big bubbler as well, and Ness may have another opportunity to dunk here.
Just barely falling short here. They have kept themselves in the game, but it has been all Bishop Blanchette thus far. They have the Rainmaker running in and a dunk, as we call it here. After dropping game 1 on their counter pick, they take it to Hagglefish Market, and Bishop Blanchette, a nice response there. A dominant showing there, Milana. They came to play. They were not going to go down without having their say.
I think that comp really just played to that aggressive nature that they were able to just, you know, not let O'Day High School push it back to mid. They weren't even allowed to, you know, move back to their base. So really just being able to maintain that neutral position, like you said, is so important in Rainmaker.
And Zach, let's talk a little bit about some of the specials that we saw there. The Inkjet, really a special that we didn't get to talk about whatsoever in that last Turf War game. But the Inkjet, especially on the ballpoint splat link here, if you see people fly up into the air, you know you need to run.
Yeah, the Inkjet on sort of a roller coaster of buffs and nerfs over time, but it really can give a whole new dynamic, essentially turning a 2D game into a 3D game with the aerial mobility that you're able to provide. You have enough shots to where you can get a couple of indirect hits on somebody and almost take them out if you're in that optimal range. We also saw that blaster using the big bubbler up on top of the platform in O'Day High School sort of spawn, so that really helped to cement and take away some of the fire that folks like Ness who were getting the Rainmaker had to deal with and were able to plant as a result.
Main weapons, sub-weapons, special weapons. These kids have to keep track of all of it to make an effective attack and defense. And we're now going to move on to Splat Zones, our next ranked mode. And if Rainmaker was a little fast-paced for you, don't you worry. Splat Zones is going to slow it right back down, something much more similar to Turf War. Control a patch of turf in the center of the stage for 100 counts. Once your team completely covers the zone with your ink color, your team's timer will begin to decrease. And whichever team has less time left on their time at the end of the match wins. And of course, there can also be knockouts in this mode if you take your count all the way to 0. Milana, this is the most universally beloved mode in competitive play. Why is that?
It's because, you know, it is very methodical. So being able to push and collect the zone and, you know, build your specials and push back to center with your team, I think is just such a very strategic, like I said, methodical way of playing, and I think it is fast-paced in that way too.
Well, we went from one of the most beloved maps to one of the next most beloved maps here. Hey, the teams are picking it. They certainly love the same maps that we do here. Taking a trip down, shopping in Mako Mart. Taking a look at the comps here, we're going to see a lot of shooters once again. Joe going to be bringing out, the S-Blast here. This is a blaster glass weapon. We saw it. This is one of the newest weapons in the game. A couple of very unique firing modes here. This weapon can be an absolute menace if it gets up in your spawn, Zach.
Yeah, a unique weapon with a unique kit. It's going to have the sprinkler and the reeve slider, so it's going to give you a little bit of extra mobility as we see Ice go down there. We also see that big bubbler sitting on top of the zone that's going to go down as Soap Eater pushing forward with that Ultra Stamp, and that's going to take over control of that plus-size zone. It was 3 down against Ode High School, and Bishop Blanchette's going to take the lead as a result.
The strawberry kiwi color scheme out here. Ode High School going to be in the pink, and Bishop Blanchette going to be in the green. Great control thus far. You're going to see Ode High School try to use some specials here, starting with this Trizuka to force the members of Bishop Blanchette back, move right in exactly as you would want to see there, Milana. Textbook push to recapture that zone.
We definitely see that. We saw the bubbler planting themselves on that splat zone. We saw that Trizuka coming out and making space and making way and kind of pushing Bishop Blanchette back and towards their spawn and giving them an opportunity to hold on to that zone. But unfortunately, Ode High School not able to win that 1v1, and control does go back to Bishop Blanchette.
Great play there by Ness, holding on to what we would call the boxes area of this map, because it is made of boxes here. We're not that creative, but whenever you have a player on that end zap, you know, Zach, that their role is make sure that the zone is ours, and then if there's a moment to dive on an unsuspecting opponent, take that player out, send him back to spawn, and make your play from there.
Yeah, so the end zap falls under a category called the support weapon, where basically it's trying to both get its special quickly, and also it has a very quick and very straightforward shot deviation there. We also see a couple of weapons as we see a nice splat there with the Ultra Stamp. That's going to be 2. They're forced by Soap Eater, who has the opportunity to throw it if they want to. It looks like they're going to hold on to it with that tactical or buff. Heiju's going to be moving forward, trying to take out Ice, which they will on that Blobbler, and they're going to be getting into single digits here, 9.
Just 10 seconds now, 10 counts left. There's going to be one last mad dash at the zone. They're throwing bombs at the zone here, those sub-weapons. Glitch going to go to try and fight, but it won't be enough. They're fighting over the zone, holding it, almost flipping back the other way. Can they fight through the big bubbler? Another one goes down. They're fighting 2 down, and Bishop Blanchette holds. Round of applause says it all, Milana. What a hectic fight we saw there at the very end. Not an option for Ode School except for to dive right in and try to take back that zone at the very end. But credit the members of Bishop Blanchette holding on and identifying where they needed to fire at in the just most hectic of moments.
You know, I think that splat zones can be methodical, like I said, but it is so exciting when it comes down to the wire. You're throwing yourselves at the splat zone, and we have a back and forth just like that. I really don't think, you know, Splatoon could be any better.
No, it's why we love that map and that mode so much, because it produces hectic moments, rather. But now that we've taken a breath here, you can see the players smiling right now. Certainly have to be feeling good. We're going to move on to tower control for our next mode here. Again, this is a best of 5. This is gut check time for Ode School, Zach. They are going to have the opportunity to choose which map they want to go here. But tower control is a game mode where you absolutely have to be willing to move ahead of that tower, to fight ahead of that tower. Something like a payload style gameplay.
Exactly. So for reference, we take a mode like Splat Zones where the objective does not move at all. It always stays in mid. Now we go to a mode where you have an objective that does move. It incorporates a bit of that checkpoint activity from a mode like Rainmaker, where it can have 2 or even 3 checkpoints that you have to get to, and it follows a predetermined path. There's even a line on the map itself where you can see where that tower is going to move. And because the enemy team, the defending team, knows where those checkpoints are, those are great opportunities to defend. If you have specials like Triple Ink Strike that you can use to get any of that pushing team off the tower, you may be saving it for those moments. But there's also some times where you might have to flank around or pull off some type of cheeky shark type of activity in order to take out the existing member or members on the tower, because somebody is always going to have to be on that tower for it to be moving and for your team to gain any progress.
And as with the other modes that you've seen thus far, if you do not get a knockout in the 5 minutes, potentially with overtime allotment, it will be whoever has the shortest distance to the goal. So again, if there is not a knockout, as we have seen in these last couple of games, we might go the distance here. But Milana, we just got word, Museum d'Alfonsino. These teams know what maps we like to play, and clearly they're liking it too.
Certainly, yeah. The Museum d'Alfonsino just has so many avenues to it. There are spinners on the map, one on each side and one in the middle. The side spinners have these grates where you can prop yourself on top of. And, I think what makes Splatoon kind of interesting is that you usually don't have to look up too much, but this map, I think you want to take a second think about that.
Yeah, take a look all over, because the threat will be coming from all over. Folks, this could be the last game of your Splatoon 3 high school exhibition. Taking a look at the maps right here, both teams opting to bring a blaster to the dance here. Take a look at that, 2 down already. That's why you bring the blaster. Area of effect damage, 2 already going down here. Bishop Blanchette's already going to take the tower here. Now Soap Eater is up just below their spinner as well. O'Day High School has to be patient here. Build up your specials, try to fight them back, but now Splatin getting in on the game, saying, I have heard every name called out, but mine still has another chance to find another. Zach, they're marching forward here right now. They've got the right people on the tower. Soap Eater dives in again. This is pandemonium.
Yeah, they are absolutely making the best out of these specials that they have. It's going to be Soap Eater going in again on that Ultra Stamp and getting a lot of that action cleared for the tower path, which is now stuck a little bit before that opening platform area. But it all started with Heju on that blaster. It's got sort of the average range. It's got the big bulber to protect yourself. And now we see what Heju's going to do again as they try and take some of that high ground and maybe get some poking indirect shots to try and get a 2-shot splat.
Earlier, we discussed how important those checkpoints are, Milana, and very important that as scary as that last push was there, O'Day High School was able to defend their second checkpoint here. If you defend a checkpoint, the opponent has to fight back through all of it, so you can buy yourself a little extra time. Things have gotten away from them here, but still, knowing how to play around the checkpoints is hugely important.
For sure, but as we're talking about that, Bishop Blanchette making another solid push, placing that tacticooler on the tower, allowing their teammates to get drinks, I think is going to be huge for Bishop Blanchette's push.
Yep, Necro on the blaster of their own here, one of the best weapon classes in the entire game for clearing out that tower, because you don't have to be quite as accurate. Just put it up in the same zip code as that tower and you're going to take some people out. And once again, O'Day High School, they haven't quite put a push of their own together yet, Zach. But once again, they know the portions of the map that they cannot lose, the power positions, as you and I would sometimes call them. They've done a solid job defending those, and hey, Necro gets one down mid-special. If they can start a cycle here, there's a real opportunity.
Yeah, speaking of defense, when that inkjet goes live, you really want to make sure you pay it its due attention, or you're going to get wiped out as a result. It looks like O'Day High School is going to be claiming the tower and making their best push of the day so far here. They're going to lose one, however, as the splash goes down. Heju's going to move back as that big bubbler allows you sort of like a beacon sub-weapon to go back and jump back to that special. They're going to look for a second one here after getting Ice, and they'll find it on the Necro. They're going to look again and jump back toward that spinner area as Frank tries to set up Ice. It looks like stuck in their spawn almost if Heju can get this second indirect shot, but for now they have a very little amount of ink to work with, and they're going to fall as a result right as we get through the halfway point of this one.
Yeah, you never want to put it all on one player, but Hejo did get 3 players down there in that push when it was starting to look the other way. Now Glitch showing some fancy footwork. Oh my goodness, what an incredible fight. Now look, Necro was pushed up with with his blaster. And once again, it's Joe, the only player who seems to be able to find some of these splats here. Would love to get real flank, not able to close it out. That's 2 down here. They're going to start moving forward. 1 or 2 more of these players goes down. The lead could change. That's 3 down. It seems like a foregone conclusion at this point. Counted up at checkpoint 2. They've taken the lead, Milana.
They've taken the lead. They put that bubbler down. They're trying to make that lead even bigger. And like I said, Glitch using those grates up top to drop in unexpectedly. But this push still is not over for O'Day High School. They are still there. They're trying to make it happen, but this may be the end of that.
They will pay dearly for it there. A full wipeout as we enter the final 90 seconds of the game here. A push to 22, a pretty good push, Zach, and this is where holding on to that first checkpoint really matters for O'Day High School. If they're patient and build up their specials, they might be able to close this down.
Yeah, these middle moments are so much more important in tower control because while you're in mid, the tower's moving with you. You get to repaint the middle of the map, and you also are building your specials up as a result. They get an early pick there onto the Splash-O-Matic, who's now able to come back from spawn. Heiju looking for another one there as Ice is going to come out on their right. They almost have that big bubbler at the ready, but a teammate is going to help clean them up. Perhaps Splatoon, who's going to be in the air on that inkjet. They'll find another, and it will help to try and secure spawn, but they've got a fair bit of this orange ink behind them. They're going to have to be very careful as they're in the middle of a 1v2 and just barely can't escape.
You talk about priority targets there. Necro on that range blaster was the one player that they weren't able to take down in that cycle. And O'Day High School, we've talked so much about Hijo's on that blaster here. Necro doing the exact same thing, Milana. You absolutely have to get rid of that blaster if you want a sustained push. But with 30 seconds left, now it's Bishop Blanchett who has to dive at the tower to try to give themselves an opportunity.
They certainly do, and you know, I think that O'Day High School really needs to focus on Heiju because Heiju, you know, with a blaster, you can just focus on the tower, you know, and just make the opponents disappear. But I think that O'Day High School does get that pick. Necro getting that nice pick on Heiju, and this is going to go into overtime.
Folks, our first overtime of the set here did just enough to give themselves an opportunity, and now it all matters. Splatoon gonna try to find somebody here, and does with that inkjet. Keep in mind, that's a big shot earlier because that's the Splash-O-Matic. There will be no crab tank. Soap Eater dives in, would love to find one, but has turned everybody away. A big bubbler on the tower here. Glitch moving forward. They took out Necro. That's the one difference. Another one goes down as Real Frank. There's only one down here, and it's Ice firing there, trying to stall it out. Goes and tries to make the play. Another wipeout. That's their checkpoint gone. We move forward further into the overtime. 2 goes down. There's Necro. That's 3 down. It's just Soap Eater and stopped with 1 point left. O'Day High School goes down to the very last possible second, but they will take it. What a win and a cheer there. Fist bumps all around. And folks, we're getting a Game 5 here in our exhibition. How about it, Zach? Make sense of that ending because it was madness from my perspective.
How fitting for an exhibition match that we get to see every mode available here, including our Game 5 mode, Clam Blitz. But let's talk a bit about that tower control map for a second. It really was the blaster show for that one, and the range blaster show, as we saw exchanges back and forth, including a 1v1 between both blasters that resulted, I believe, in the range blaster actually getting the pick, but it was multiple fights because they had to travel so far from their own platform all the way through the middle of the map and back to the defending side that allowed O'Day High School to just barely hold on. One member of the pushing team has to stay on that tower to defend it. We saw that Splattershot Jr. rushing up bravely, even with such little range at their disposal to try and stall things out effectively in a 1v3, and that turns out to be the hero play that just by the skin of their teeth allows them to tie the set up and go to a Game 5.
And folks, if you weren't believers in the entertainment value and how incredible Scholastic Esports and Scholastic Splatoon can be, I don't know what else to tell you here. We have been losing our voices already, and there is still a lot of game left to be played. Let's go ahead and talk about where we're headed for our very final game here. We're going to play on Clam Blitz. This one, I won't lie to you, is a little complicated here. The first team to score 100 points will win this, so that part you're probably familiar with. They are going to pick up clams, literal clams, scattered about the stage. When they collect 8 of those clams, they will build what is called the power clam, and they can use that power clam to open the enemy's basket. They're opening baskets here, but the power clam kind of looks like a football. 1 clam, 3 points. The power clam, 20 points. Milana, either love this mode or you hate it, but cannot be denied some real funny stuff can happen.
Certainly. I think the mode, this might be kind of a hot topic, but I think the mode that demonstrates the most teamwork has to be Clam Blitz. Just being able to utilize all of your specials effectively together and being able to, keep count of how many clams you have and, am I close enough to the barrier to be able to make the jumps to my teammates, that I think it just needs so much communication that really it is the team game.
Yeah, communication, such an important aspect of here. We've been trying our best to commentate here for you all, and you better believe that these players and their communication as they're playing, they're speaking even more quickly than we are, and we are simply doing our best to keep up. But we are going to finish the tour here of just beloved stages with what might be the most beloved stage in Splatoon history. It's Inkblot Art Academy Clam Blitz here. Folks, this is it. Game 5. There's no more left on the table at this point. Give these kids some support, these students, as they fight to represent their schools. One final game, a whole lot of splatlings. Zach, take it away, my friend, because this is a major pivot from a compositional standpoint.
Well, and we go from starting this set out on a very linear map to a very square one. And taking a look at the compositions here, we're going to see a double splatling composition. We're going to see the Nautilus as well as the heavy splatling deco. Otherwise, they're going to stay relatively the same with that Splatana Wiper and the end tap. And on the opposite side of things, going to be going back to the Tri-Slosher for that Inkjet action. In fact, double Inkjet as they pair that with the Ballpoint as well as the Tenatech and Vanilla Splash to round us out.
Milana, you can see them already jockeying for position in the center of the map. The principles of map control still so important because you can't build those clams if not. The Kraken Royale coming out to try to find someone. That is an invulnerable, just giant crustacean that will take people out as they fight forward there, or a cephalopod, one of the two. But you can see now it's difficult to get any real momentum started on this map, but that's now 3 down cycled through, and this 4th one's going to have a rough landing as well here. O'Day High School saying this way, they have an opportunity. They've got a power clam, and they are on the doorstop. Can they move through, Milana? How do they break?
I think they use that crab tank to take out that Ultra Stamp to be able to get a couple of picks so that they are able to make that push in. The ball carrier is there. They're waiting for that opening. Ice with the Inkjet trying to take out this Splatana Wiper. And are they able to do it? They might have just overstayed their welcome. They might not have just... They missed their opportunity.
Zach, you talked so much earlier about the protect the president style that we see in Rainmaker here. Our Inklings still have their full capabilities when they are carrying a power clam, but the one thing that's important, everybody in the map can see you. You will sometimes see players take a dive at the opposing clam carrier to stop a push, and I think that was the right call by Bishop Blanchette in that moment.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There's some good news and bad news when you look at the objective on this move. When you're holding the clam, we see that there's a ton of action there that you can see in the Ultra... wow, this Kraken Royale is pushing so far forward. We had the first break as well there by Bishop Blanchette. It doesn't look like there's going to be much follow-up, but as you can see there, they have 6 built up for Real Frank. They get flanked, however, and they're going to be taken down by Splat, and they're going to look for another one. They're going to get it onto Glitch and going to try and go for the duel here in mid, looking for any sort of final shots. They will find them there onto Necro, but as you were talking about their 9, as long as you're holding onto that power claim, you're spotted, but you can throw it to your teammates, so you don't have to hold it for the end of time like you do on Rainmaker, which is a rather nice change of pace.
Just over 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. Soap Eater again trying to go forward and make a mess despite what the name would say. Will be able to take out one and distract everybody else. And you can see now that Bishop Blanchette has built up another power clam. They're going to try to push forward there. Splatton's getting another one with this Nautilus. Splatling has been the MVP of the game thus far. You can see they're marshaling their forces on the right side of this map. They've now marked everybody with that point sensor sub-weapon. Would love to find Ice and Do. Here comes Hedjo once again on this Kraken Royale. They're going to do what's called the super jump with the power clam, dunk it in, and now they are open season for scoring here. More players going to try to jump and score more, but that may have been enough of a distraction here. Bishop Blanchette with a huge opportunity, throwing more down, scoring more. Milana, this is where the game can start to get away.
This certainly is. We see that O'Day High School really has to play this carefully. Splattened camping that drop is going to make it very difficult for them to get back in. And you know, I love seeing what Bishop Blanchette is doing. That they were trying to kind of throw in clams a little bit at a time to keep that basket open for as long as they could to make that push to 37.
Yeah, make the push to 37, and look at how much time they melted off there. Now only 90 seconds here for O'Day High School to stage their comeback. And again, if you do not have the basket open at the end of regulation time, you will not get to go to overtime, so they have to assume that they're only going to get 1 or 2 more cracks at evening this one out. Pitching over here to the left right now are Glitch and Ice Ice trying to make a play. Necro going to have a really rough landing. Actually got on top of the right spot and takes out Soap Eater here. Again, Zach, you can see how difficult it is to push forward and score here. They're not diving in wantonly, but they're still not able to find a whole lot of value.
I feel like it might have to come down to Necro or Ice Ice here, either for the Inkjet or just for the ability to try and outrange these two Splatlings that are bearing down upon them in the middle of these fights. We see Heijo, they're going to take one out again with that Kraken Royale. It's going to be Glitch. They're going to look for a second one. They're going to find it. They're on a real flank. Frank, they're going to look for the triple there onto Necro, and he just runs out of time, but they still get the trade. They're not able to get the jumping in Glitch, but that's going to allow Nest, along with this Inkstorm, to move forward, and they get Glitch as a result too.
They can hear the cheers right now. They sense the moment. Splatin now is going to try to run forward and score a couple more of these clans, take a couple of people out as well. Splatin, who has been running roughshod over these members, will go ahead and get another one there. Nest goes down. Necro does what needs to be done here. They have some resources here. Milana would love to take out Soap Eater to start and do, but there is no margin for error as we enter the last 10 seconds.
They have that power clam, which means that this game will go into overtime, giving O'Day one last shot into the enemy base. They need these Inkjets to produce. They need these Inkjets to take out the enemy team, but unfortunately, I don't think they're able to take out enough, and I don't think this is it.
No, they're going to jump back in to try to close it out. Glitch will not land. You can see over there at the overtime, it's going down to the end. They do have the power clamp, so they'll extend it, but they have only a few more seconds. Necro going to try to dive, but there's no room. And after 5 incredible games, Bishop Blanchette closes it out in Clam Blitz on Inkblot Art Academy. And they are the winners of the Nintendo vs. Splatoon 3 High School Exhibition. Look at that, hands in the air. This bumps all around sportsmanship between these two teams. And I said it earlier, I'll say it again. If you are not a believer in scholastic programs here that bring students like these together to compete for their school in their game, the pride that they feel, this is why this has been expanding all across the country here. Thousands of students are competing in many, many games across the country. Zach, you and I were athletes once upon a time, back in our high school times. We talked to Milana earlier about what it was like to be a teacher, but the sense of community and bonding when you get to compete with friends in something like this, it's unmatched.
I think the word for me that comes to mind is commitment, and you really have to sort of dedicate yourself. It's not just meeting every once in a while and maybe just kind of, fiddling around a little bit with the game. It really is putting in the time and hours to learn the maps and learn the weapons that you're comfortable with, trying to build a composition that you feel comfortable with. And it was clear that both of these teams have spent a lot of time sort of in those training rooms building up those efforts. We saw the fantastic effort at sort of the blaster game, I'll call it, in game 4, where we saw the blaster v range blaster, and then it came into sort of a Splatling v Splatling battle there in game number 5 to kind of decide things, and it really was a fantastic back and forth effort that I know these two teams put a lot of thought and hard work into. So fantastic job by both of them, and ultimately congratulations to Bishop Blanchette for pulling out at the end there with a 3-2 victory.
And Milana here, we were talking to some of these players in the back, right? And they were loving this type of venue floor that we're seeing. They were looking wide-eyed at all the wires that are going back through here. This can be an avenue for these students to find something that they truly love. They do this with their friends. They find something that they like. This can be a foundation for a career, for a life. And when you're this passionate about something, it transfers.
I think we see it here all the time. Every time that we cast, we see the camaraderie that happens between the teams, that not only are they teammates, but they're friends too. So even, participating in something like this is just so good for kids. I can't say it any simpler than that.
Well, congratulations again to both of our teams for fighting it out here today. If you are here for the Splatoon 3 Championship 2023 semifinals, don't go anywhere. It's going to be coming back to you shortly right after this commercial break. We hope you've enjoyed the show thus far, and stay tuned.
Hi everyone, Shiny Hunter Zach here. The Splatoon 3 Championship 2023 qualifiers have concluded, and with 4 teams making it out of the 2 qualifier events, let's take a look at the journeys that these teams undertook to make it to Nintendo Live 2023 in Seattle. The first team to qualify through event number 1 was perennial North American favorite Starburst. Let's take a look at some of the plays that helped them secure a spot through the winner's side of the bracket. With 1 member down on each side, we see new member qǐngqiú pushing forward into the spinner here on Museum de Alfonsino. Despite being marked, he's able to throw some shots over the top of the spinner and able to help break down that crab tank en route to securing a double kill for their team. This allows them with 3 down on the opposite side to push forward and extend their lead on the Rainmaker through the help of qǐngqiú using that triple ink strike to gain more ground. Another huge member of this team is the backliner and anchor player, Ice. Despite being 2 members down here, he's able to pop the inkjet and get a couple of huge splats. And on top of that, uses the drop roller on their shoes to get the trade onto Jared for an effective triple splat here. This allows them to maintain the lead here on Rainmaker in a pivotal Game 5. The final 2 members of this composition use a divide and conquer method here, as Bagel's going to build up that crab tank effortlessly and use the alternate fire to get some pot shots up top, as Bran uses the Tri-Slosher Nouveau to become aggressive, getting a couple of early picks here in Game 3. With one of their mainstay members out of the equation, Slosher player qǐngqiú has stepped up in a big way for Starburst, but will it be enough for them to take home the victory at Nintendo Live 2023 in Seattle? Let's take a look now at the second team that qualified from event number 1. With a dominant 12-0 run in the latter portion of the bracket, Jackpot was looking great until they lost in a nail-biter of a set in Game 5 to Starburst. Now being bumped down into the loser side of the bracket and down 0-1 against Duck Gang, they come in huge here on Eeltail Alley with some offensive plays that lead to their victory. So let's take a look here. It's going to be .Q holding on to the Rainmaker to start this one out, and they're going to be using the triple ink strike to gain some turf here in mid. After advancing it up with a couple of picks and getting the plant onto the first checkpoint here, it's going to be Jared using the Splash-O-Matic to get a couple of great splats and force Duck Gang to go 3 members down. .Q is going to first pop the Rainmaker shield and then use that inkjet to secure some more offensive pressure as Jared takes over the responsibility of running the Rainmaker here. They wait until the perfect opportunity when Duck Gang is fully wiped out in order to push to the right side of the map, secure their victory, and tie the set at 1 en route to a 3-1 victory in this set over Duck Gang. And with that, Starburst and Jackpot were able to claim the first 2 spots at the Splatoon 3 2023 Championship in Nintendo Live in Seattle. With 2 more spots up for grabs and only 1 qualifier remaining, let's take a look at some of the plays that allowed our first team, Crush Soda, to make it in through the winner's side of the bracket. So Twig will notice behind them that one of their ballpoint Splatling teammates has popped Inkjet, and to the right, one member of In Control Red Sun, Beam, has started using their Crab Tank. However, the other In Control Red Sun members are grouped up together in the middle of their spawn. Twig is going to use this to pressure them from behind this window and behind their splash wall under the tarp here. So as we play this clip back at half speed, Twig is going to move forward here, throwing their splash wall in a position where it will shield them from any incoming fire before moving to the right here. With the ramp already inked by their team and with inkjet shots whizzing by them, they throw up a second splash wall to get the first pick against Beam and move forward here with the assistance of a teammate to get another splat onto Nico just before going down to that torpedo. However, it was enough momentum in a 3-down situation forced against In Control Red Sun to give Crush Soda the win in Game 1. Later in the set, Crush Soda with a 2-0 set lead is looking to end things off on Museum de Alfonsino Clam Blitz. With 16 clams at their disposal total, Thunder's going to get the ball rolling for them by holding on to this power clam and throwing it once they have a path forward. Goss is going to back them up by using the Crab Tank against both the Inkjet and the member of In Control Red Sun on the grates, as Wave is going to have their back with a ballpoint Splatling. Thunder's going to use the box to push forward, deposit yet another power clam, and with that momentum, Goss is going to jump to their teammate Twig and effectively end things for Crush Soda, who ends up taking the set 3-0 and earns their spot at Nintendo Live. Taking a look now at our final team, Duck Gang. They're looking to qualify after having made top 4 in both qualifier events and are now in a close 2-1 set against In Control Red Sun in the losers finals of qualifier event 2. Let's take a look at how they were able to make it to Nintendo Live. With less than 30 seconds remaining and with each team being a member down, Red Shell using the Splatana Wiper Deco is able to get a huge pick there onto Nico, supported by their team, also getting a splat onto the ballpoint Splatling for In Control Red Sun. Gathering enough clams to build up a power clam, they're going to force the issue by stopping Red Sun from having an opportunity to force overtime. Supported by the possibility of a 10 missiles usage, Duck Gang is able to get 3 members down in the final 5 seconds, depositing a power clam into the basket to end overtime and win the set in losers finals. And that's how these 4 teams were able to qualify for the Splatoon 3 Championship 2023 tournament at Nintendo Live. We'll see you on September 4th, but for now, stay fresh.
It's been nearly a year since Splatoon 3 splashed down, and during that time, we've seen countless squads try to rise to the top. Today, though, we witnessed 4 of the freshest and finest squads face off for the right to call themselves champions. So grab your splatter shot, pick a side, and yell booyah as we get set for the Splatoon 3 Championships 2023, coming your way from Nintendo Live 2023 here in Seattle. We've got a wonderful crowd here today. How's everybody doing? Well, welcome in. It's going to be a treat here today. Jordan Kent, your spray-by-spray host, and joining me, 2 of the finest Splatalists in all of Inkopolis. You know him, you love him. His name is 9, but he's a 10 in my book. And then we have Milana, everybody's fan favorite. And 9, let's start with this. No more crabs on the field. The meta has changed significantly. What have you noticed with these top teams that we're going to see today?
Yep, they put away their crab tanks for the most part, and they brought out a whole lot of tacticooler play. We saw a dramatic shift just within the last few months of competitive play. These teams have opted to build up their tacticooler players. They use that to create a snowball effect that is so difficult to stop.
And Milana, with this tacticooler taking over right now, what do you expect to see when these teams do finally get the action started here?
So, you know, teams might opt to go for a little bit more aggression, and they might, you know, pick an NZAP and 85 as their weapon, or they might kind of want to step back a little bit, and an unlikely opponent has come up with the Snipe Rider 5H.
So a lot of exciting weapons that we will be seeing on display. Let's check out the bracket. The 4 teams that have literally splatted hundreds of teams to get here. We see in our first semifinals matchup, Jackpot versus Duck Gang 9. What can you tell us about both these 2 teams?
Well, I mean, Jackpot is the favorite coming into this event. It's been an awful long time since a squad that wasn't named FT Win or Starburst was the favorite heading into this event, but the new meta changes have really made them so difficult to beat once they get rolling. But Duck Gang will be bringing out a lot of unconventional weapon picks. From their perspective, they're playing with house money. They've got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
The winner of that matchup will face off against the winner of Starburst and Crush Soda. Milana, what do you like about those 2 teams?
You know, Starburst, a very, very familiar presence in the competitive Splatoon community, especially at these Nintendo events, against an up-and-coming, really fast-paced team like Crush Soda. So it really depends. Is slow and steady going to win the race, or is that hair just going to blast past that finish line?
Well, let's check out the rules here as we get set for the best of 5 semifinals. The higher seed will choose the mode, the lower seed will choose the stage, and then after the first game, the winning team will choose the mode, and the losing team will choose the stage. Those are your game modes. You know them, you love them. Clam Blitz, Splat Zones, Tower Control, Rainmaker. Keep in mind, a mode cannot be chosen more than 2 times during the match, so you need to be well-rounded. Also, your stages, an assortment that have been handcrafted, picked just for this competition to give you, the fans, maximum enjoyment as we try to crown a champion here. And then last but not least, it is single elimination, so you better bring your A game right from the start. We've also got a couple of sweepstakes for all of you joining us here. The Nintendo versus sweepstakes at Nintendo Live 2023 Seattle. My Nintendo members can enter to win a Secret Lab Titan Evo Nintendo versus Edition gaming chair. I have sat in this chair 9. I have held children while in this chair. It is the most comfortable chair I've sat in my life. So make sure you scan that QR code. You're available to enter from September 1st through September 4th. But wait, there's more. Call now. And you can get a splash tag from the Splatoon 3 Championship 2023. How about those fishes that we see on there, Milana? Just adorable.
So cute. You know, if you're not repping this, if you're not repping this event, I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
You got to throw it up there. And all you have to do is scan the QR code with your Splatnet 3 app on your phone. If you don't get it, Milana will no longer talk to you anymore. But fortunately for all of our teams and the captains as well too, Milana did get a chance to chat with them. So let's go ahead and meet the leaders of 4 of the top teams taking place here today.
Hey everybody, my name is Milana and I'm joined by the captains of the 4 qualifying teams for Splatoon 3 2023 tournament.
I'm Brand, captain of Starburst.
I'm Thunder, captain of Crush Soda.
I'm Madness, captain of Jackpot.
I'm Red Shell, captain of Duck Gang.
So you guys here are performing on the biggest stage in North America. How do you guys practice as a team?
My team often scrimmages.
Nice.
We're gonna go eat pancakes later.
What
did you have?
What is your favorite hairstyle for Lil Buddy?
The pineapple.
The spiky one.
One that goes like this.
I like the basic one.
What kind of advice would you have for new players trying to enter the scene and compete at this level alongside you guys?
I think if you're new, just using the resources you have already, there's plenty of tools, both in-game and out-of-game to use, and just taking it one step at a time and being continuous with your practice.
I would say try your best to form connections with like players above you and then try to get them to play with you because that's like real helpful in the future.
Yeah. Next, we're gonna do a little bit of a lightning round. So I'm going to ask you guys a question and you just are gonna give me a 1-word or 2-word answer based on what I ask you. Favorite map?
Mako.
Hacklefish.
Mommy Ruins.
Flounder.
Favorite mode?
Splatoon.
Rainmaker.
Turf War.
Clam Blitz.
Favorite weapon?
Tri-Slasher.
Splash.
S-Blast.
Octobrush Nouveau.
Favorite weapon you don't play?
L3.
Splatter shot.
Slosher.
YouTuber.
Favorite special?
Tenta missiles.
Crab tank.
Vacuum.
Kraken.
Pick one. Deep cut, Squid Sisters, or Off the Hook?
Deep cut.
Squid Sisters.
Deep cut.
Squid Sisters.
Where's the Off the Hook low?
Big man all the way home.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you guys to say "catch you later" in your best Inkling voice.
Catch you later.
I got a good one.
Oh, that's a good one. That was good. Thank you so much for your time. I'm really looking forward to see you all duke it out on the Splatofield.
Hey, Milana, where's your catcher later?
Well done, Milana. Well done. Thank you very much. You can be our translators. We continue to go on here. Well, we're getting set for our first semifinal matchup. It's going to be Jackpot versus Duck Gang, and we'll get a chance to see these players take the stage here in just a moment. But, Nine, you go back to playing on this stage. It's completely different than an online tournament. There's a different kind of pressure that requires you to keep your cool when things start to heat up.
Yeah, it's fitting that we're getting to see Jackpot versus Duck Gang first because Jackpot has been on this stage multiple times in Splatoon 2, in Splatoon 3. I was talking to them over the course of the week here. They feel comfortable. They are right at home on this stage. The members of Duck Gang, they're like, oh yeah, there is going to be a live crowd cheering. I suspect that they will very quickly figure out what that means for them.
All right, let's go ahead and meet our first team as they get set to take the stage. Put your tentacles together for Jackpot as they make their way on up. These are the heavy favorites, many people feel like, coming into this one. So, Milana, why don't you walk us through this?
We have Leafy, Q, Jared, and the captain of Jackpot, Madness, coming on stage right now.
They're going as the team of Sayonara when they place second at the Splatoon 3 North American Championship 2023. But they have gold in their sights as they try to claim a championship here today in Seattle. Their opponent in the first semifinal matchup will be Duck Gang as they try to get to the pond and steal some breadcrumbs of victory here, Nine.
Starting off with Kino walking out, followed by Henry. Next up, Drifty. And the captain, the solo queue warrior himself, Red Shell.
The beloved underdogs of this competition. They are quickly improving and they show that they are mechanically sound, but also survivability is something that you want to keep in mind with them. So it should be an exciting matchup here between Duck Gang and Jackpot. Now we have our very first matchup here, Milana. Inside information as far as our game mode and stage. It will be tower control on Eel Tail Alley. So looking at this combination, what do you expect to see here?
You know, like we said before, we saw Eel Tail Alley as one of the map picks for that high school exhibition. It is a really long map, so we might see something that is a little bit longer range, something that can kind of focus on that tower. I might expect to see a blaster to be able to kind of take that top route and be able to keep an eye on both elevations on that map.
Let's go ahead and check out the rules for tower control for those of you that are just now joining us, getting a chance to see how this game mode works out. Tower control, you're going to ride the tower to the enemy's base. There is a tower in this mode, hence the term tower control. Once a player has taken control of a tower, it will move automatically to a beautiful melody as it makes its way slowly across the stage. And if neither team reaches the goal, the team with the shortest distance to the goal wins. But 9, of course, there are checkpoints, and those checkpoints play a big role in determining who the winner is if nobody ends up riding it all the way to the goal.
Yeah, the checkpoints are really where tower control is played around. Some maps have 2 checkpoints, some maps have 3 checkpoints, but teams will build their specials to either break through those checkpoints or to defend those checkpoints. If you defend a checkpoint, even when it had 1 sliver of health left, the opposing team will have to go all the way through it, so it really buys you almost another 5 or 6 seconds depending on how you play it.
Milana, I'm looking at the loadouts for both these teams, what we expect them to do, and for Duck Gang, you've got double N-Zap in this Tacticooler meta. This will be rather interesting. Eeltail Alley, one of the more narrower stages here.
I think this could work really, really well if they can build momentum, because the difficult thing about Eeltail Alley is that it takes so long for you to get back into the middle, back into the action. So by being able to use those Tacticoolers to come back sooner, I think is going to be huge for them.
And it takes a lot of coordination, 9, to play with that Tacticooler, because you've got to have somebody that is farming them left and right the entire game. How do the teammates best utilize it throughout the game to make sure that they are always staying juiced up?
Yeah, the role of the player who builds the Tacticooler, typically your NZAP 85 player, has to move up, and it is their job to put it in the perfect place. It is not the responsibility of the rest of the teammates to stop what they're doing, swim back to the middle of the map, grab the soda, and go back through. You're going to see these top-level support players play around where their teammates are, throw it down where they can grab it almost immediately, and keep that snowball a-rolling.
I want to talk about the Nautilus here. We're going to see a lot of that here, Milana. Why are players falling so in love, and why has this been such a key weapon for a lot of these aggro Slayer types?
I think what really makes the Nautilus work is being able to use the point sensors and provide information for their teams. So not only is it really aggressive that you can, get those easy splats, but being able to provide information can be invaluable for your teammates.
In 9, when we look at Jackpot, we continue to monitor how this change in the meta, all the Tacticoolers coming out, has really played into their play style and how it's really helped maximize what they're doing. I believe you had the phrase, Jackpot with momentum is the best team in the world.
Well, I heard that from them, so that should tell you how they feel about their chances in any match. But it's so true. This was a team that even back when people were playing Sloshing Machine and 2 Splash-O-Matics to build up that classic double crab, they wanted to push the issue all the time. And those specials and those weapons could sometimes stall out momentum by themselves. Now, with those not nearly as effective, with Tacticooler immediately respawning you when you get splatted, you have the opportunity to play the game at your pace, and if the opponent isn't ready to shut you down for the entire 5 minutes and potentially overtime, all they need is one opening.
Yeah, it's interesting how Tacticoolers really helped wash down a lot of the seafood we saw with those double crabs for so many months. And we look at the flex and support players here, Milana, as we get set to start the first game. We're going to put that on break, because we are bringing you the first matchup, Jackpot versus Duck Gang. As we get things rolling, you see the 3 7s in front of each member of Jackpot. How fitting as they quickly scurry to the middle of the stage. And with things going, any surprises with our loadouts here, 9?
Well, you said earlier the Nautilus splatling a big winner lately, but here's something I did not expect to see. Madness, one of the best slosher players out there, is switching over instead to the Blaster. AoE weapons tend to be very, very strong on this map mode combination. So if you've got a Blaster player that you feel comfortable with, let him eat.
First checkpoint going down. You already see that Tacticooler come out. 30 seconds in. .Q in the inkjet so far, and already you see the momentum for Jackpot here, Milana.
We certainly do, but Duck Gang is really trying to make that push back, because that first checkpoint is so close to the center of the map that really it could just go really easily.
Henry with the trade. We see Kino right here providing a spawn point for their teammate. Tower back in control of Jackpot. And at this point, you start to see Jackpot moving closer into Duck Gang territory, putting them on their back heels.
At blink and you miss it here. Look at how quickly Madness and Leafy moved up there to attack this all-important portion of the map here. That checkpoint's already gone. It was off-screen and we already saw it. Now Q at this point almost going for a victory lap. Drifty goes down. If they get Kino too, that could be it. Kino on the very last vestiges of this spot, is actually able to hold position and take one out. Will it be enough? They are marching right towards the end.
10 seconds left. Jackpot just marching straight ahead, and this is almost a clear sweep, but there's the wipeout, and just like that, Jackpot giving us a demonstration of how dominant they can be. They got on a roll there, 9, and with Q just raining down judgment with that inkjet, really opening up the way for Jackpot.
You know, one thing that we didn't really talk about with the Tacticoolers, not only do you respawn instantly, you respawn with all of the special meter that you had when you last got splatted. That means that these inkjet players can be a little bit more active and trust that even if they get taken out in whatever it is they're attempting to do, they can come back in, and a well-timed inkjet, as we saw, can completely break down any defense.
Jackpot taking game 1. We'll see if Duck Gang can quack back here, but you look at what Jackpot was able to do there, Milana, and again, that Tacticooler coming out in the first 15 seconds, and it was just an avalanche of momentum. No matter what Duck Gang tried to do, Jackpot just kept coming and coming and coming.
You know, it really is like what 9 said, that with that momentum, they're just able to continuously make this push. And with a team as mechanically strong as Jackpot, it is going to be a difficult time to push back.
Next up, we have Splat Zones. Let's go ahead and check out the rules for Splat Zones, a mode that many people love. And control a patch of turf in the center of the stage for 100 counts. And remember, this could be 1 zone, could be 2 zones. Once your team completely covers the zone with your ink color, your team's timer will begin to decrease. And of course, whichever team has less time left on their time at the end of the match wins, or if they wind it all the way down. And we'll go throwback here, 9. Splat Zones on Humpback Pump Track. Obviously a nice, more condensed stage, but everything's wide open there in the middle.
Yeah, this was not on my bingo sheet. I'll be frank with you here. This is a map that in Splatoon 2 was infamous for being a map where there just wasn't a lot of activity and not a lot of interaction. Teams would simply sit back from relatives safely, put a lot of turf onto that zone, trade paint, as we like to say in the competitive community, and throw specials at the zone and hope that you're holding it when the timer hits 0. Things have changed a little bit in Splatoon 3, but I think that might be the rationale for this pick from Duck Gang. Again, they did get to control where the map was, so hey, what's a way to slow down Jackpot? Let's see if the map can do it for us.
That's a really good point. And Milana in Splatoon 2, a lot of teams, it was all about building up all your specials and then just going special after special after special, whereas now with what we see with Splatoon 3, it's about playing much more aggressive and claiming that territory.
It certainly is. In this game, we don't have that ink armor, and while there are missiles, they're not quite as prevalent as they were in Splatoon 2. So, you know, we do have a lot of territory controlling specials, though. Things like Tri-Strike, things like Ink Zuka that can kind of hug the walls of the skate park to be able to, you know, get those picks. I think the Duck Gang is really going to have to adapt to the Splatoon 3 kind of play style.
It's such a good point. And 9, do you expect to see Madness go back to the Slosher here? We saw that AoE coming from the Blaster, of course, in Eeltail Alley, more of a much more narrow stage. This one's more like a hamburger, less of a hot dog. Just nice, big, round, meaty right there in front of your face. What do you expect?
Well, if he does opt to stick with the Blaster here, I think it's more of a show of disrespect than it is any sort of strategy here. But again, the Slosher is so powerful, can hit all types of angles on this map mode. But we'll see as the teams get loaded.
Here we go. Game 2 between Jackpot and Duck Gang. Jackpot swiftly took game 1. It was tower control in Eeltail Alley. Let's see if a change of scenery will help out Duck Gang. Looking at these loadouts, 9, let's go right back to you. What do you see, my friend?
Well, I see Q already looking to try to give somebody a ride right back to the respawn here on the Charger. One of the few players that is stuck with Charger through thick and thin. She's so versatile and can switch around. That laser putting everybody over in the other spot. The rest of the teammates more than happy to hop on top, take control of the zone, and with 3 down, this is looking like a repeat of last game thus far.
Early advantage for Jackpot. You saw it right there at 3-1 on the stage, and now they have got the zone covered, and they are pushing to the left. A lot of Duck Gang starting to move from the left-hand side of the map here, though, Milana.
They are, and they are actually able to take the zone, but they're going to really need to clear Q out of this corner before they can breathe easy about being able to have a little bit of points on the board.
You saw the crab come out. Q trying to avoid, throws up the wall. Red Shell has to retreat. Oh, and down goes Red Shell as soon as they land. And again, Jackpot still can't get the zone back. So how about Duck Gang here, 9?
Yeah, they've done a great job here. Would love to take out Madless cleanly. There's going to be some revenge there from Leafy, who is actually very close to that crustacean we all know and some of us love. The Crab Tank here. Now, it should be noted, Duck Gang is tacticaler up, so this is to create some space to let the other members of the team crash through. Red Shell going to jump back in. They would love to take this cleanly before that Octo Brush returns, but that's a couple of shooters down for both sides. Duck Gang holding through here, and great job there by Madness. If Madness went down there, it was out of control.
Madness doing an excellent job of staying alive. Triple Ink Strike coming out. They retake the zone, tack on a huge penalty to Duck Gang.
Ooh.
And now with another splat, Milana, it's Jackpot's turn to get some momentum.
It is, and we see Madness kind of moving over to the side and pushing into the base of Duck Gang. And you see him sharking there, just waiting for the unsuspecting member of Duck Gang to be splatted by his slasher.
Just over 3 minutes left here. A bit of a neutral stage here at this point here. 9 with Jackpot still controlling, but they are getting closer to taking the lead.
Yeah, this isn't going to be neutral for much longer here. Kino backed up into a corner. Red Shell comes to defend, but you know that all that time Madness is coming through. Red Shell dives at the zone to try to take it. Was not able to. Somehow trades out Jared there. Unbelievable. I'm stunned that Duck Gang even has some sort of footing right now. They're going to jump Red Shell back in. Drifty in a pretty good spot here. This is not nearly as big of a penalty as it looks.
Yeah, don't doubt those webbed feet when it comes to the footing here, 9, because now Duck Gang is back in a position 30 seconds away from slowly typing down that timer, and here they go. They've got it again, Milana, and they have a numbers advantage.
They really are going to have to utilize this position, this turf control, and Q with the tri-strike coming out, hoping to stop that zone just for a little bit, and getting that nice pick on Duck Gang. This may be Jackpot's opportunity to make it back into the zone.
Duck Gang takes the lead. Just over 2 minutes left, but here comes Jackpot. They claim the zone, but 50 seconds still sitting there, 9, that they've got to chew through, but it looks like they're well positioned.
Haymaker after Haymaker being thrown here. They really need to not feed to Q here. If Q gets any of these players, that's a huge special advantage that they will have. And now again, Q has already moved over there to make Drifty's life difficult. Look at that. That's a neutralized special. The teammates come through to close it down as well. They're going to go ahead and throw this Booyah Bomb at the zone, but they're going to need a lot more than that. Red Shell jumps forward to fight. Jared and this Crab Tank hold on as well. Look at this positioning from Jackpot as they steal the lead right back.
The flank from the Crab Tank giving the lead to Jackpot. 90 seconds left. Timer still ticking down for Jackpot. And that's a huge wipeout as Jackpot will try to close this out. 6 seconds left. Can Duck Gang spawn in time? No. That will be the straw that breaks the camel's back as Jackpot goes up 2-0. And all it was right there, Milana. We talked about Tacticooler. It was the crab that changed the story of this game late in it.
Yeah, we saw a lot of those crabs just propped up on top of that wall, being able to use that crab as a lookout to be able to use those lab shots to paint the zone, to get those picks, and it always helped Jackpot get back into the zone.
Look at Jackpot, cool, calm, collected. Strikes fear in your heart when you see how calculated they are. They are up 2-0 thanks to that push. Duck Gang responded nicely there, 9, but you see when you're trying to take down one of the top squad, you've got to play consistent 5 minutes. 2.5, 3.5, not going to do it for you.
Well, and just look at what the turning point in that match was. It was .Q, who, again, one of the finest Charger players that you will ever see, taking a position that a lot of Chargers wouldn't on the far left side of the map. Let's go ahead and put out that splash wall that ZNF splatter scope goes. And that completely neutralized what has been one of the most powerful specials in the game as of late with that Trizuka. .Q didn't need to use her special to do it. She didn't need to trade splat for splat to do it. Just put that laser over there, proper positioning. The rest of the teammates followed through. It's the slimmest of margins at this level.
Yeah, huge defensive play certainly for Jackpot and Q. All right, up next we're going to have Clam Blitz. Let's check out the rules as we get set for our third matchup between Jackpot and Duck Gang. First team to score 100 points wins. How you get there? It's a pretty fun method, though. You pick up clams scattered around the stage, toss clams into the enemy basket. A power clam, as we all know, is when you get 10 clams, just like in nature, it turns into a football. To break the basket's barrier, 1 clam equals 3 points. The power clam, though, 20 big points. And Milana, that opening push is always so critical in determining the pace of how a Clam Blitz match will go.
It isn't the most difficult thing to be able to take the power clam and break the opponent's basket. what really, really matters is being able to hold on to a significant amount of clams to be able to make a push meaningful. Because if you don't make that push meaningful, you get slammed with a penalty.
Yeah, that penalty really makes it difficult to add to your score after this. And 9, when you look at the coordinated pushes as far as trying to maximize your time, maximize the amount of seafood you're putting in that basket, what are some teams looking to do here?
Well, generally you will see teams usually sit with 1 power clam in the back and another player who maybe is sitting at 6 regular clams, 7 regular clams, so that they can quickly convert that into a power clam if they find one more. That immediately becomes 20 more points that you can put on the top. But what they're really looking for is continuation. They open the basket and then they move into your spawn. They trust that they'll have enough map control to swim back, grab some more clams, and keep the paint on.
Clam Blitz and Umami Ruins, and when you look at how Jackpot plays, this is a stage that they have no problem being at, Milana, because this is going to play right into their hands of being aggressive. We know Duck Gang chose it, but that's what happens when you play a great team like Jackpot. There really isn't an easy pick here.
That's definitely for sure. Umami Ruins, just such a small map, and there's really not that much complexity to it. It is very much a straight shot towards the basket. There are a couple of snipes where you can, prop yourself, and I think Q might be able to use those snipes to her advantage for sure.
We're heading into the match soon, but we take a look at the glory that is the trophy of the Judd and Little Judd that our champions will hoist at the end of this. Obviously, a special moment for them, bragging rights and the pride that comes with being a champion. Let's get set for our 3rd matchup, Duck Gang versus Jackpot. Jackpot, they're trying to get the broom out the closet. Duck Gang trying to slow things down as we go back in time to Umami Ruins, and as both these squads already start to make their way. 9, you know your role. What do we got here, my friend?
Yeah, another weapon that's been a big winner as of late is Drift T on that squeezer. This is a weapon that's always been thought of as maybe, just maybe, if the meta swings right. But of course, it is very good at fighting off shorter range weapons. It's great, it's a midline weapon, but it does get taken down by another big winner as of late, and why not? Kino jumps into it as well. Leafy moving forward. Now Henry's got nowhere to run. Red Shell's got nowhere to run. It's looking like a rerun of those first 2 games.
Yeah, really excellent start for Jackpot here, Milana, because they just bulldozed their way to the basket, and already 50 points.
And it's shows no sign of stopping whatsoever. Duck Gang is coming back and trying to stop this push from happening, but they keep going down a little bit at a time, and it's becoming very, very difficult for them to even just maintain their footing in their own spawn.
9, that was a push like Homer Simpson at an all-you-can-eat seafood buffet out the gate there.
Unbelievable that you would go there, but look at this. .Q already has another power clam. They've built another power clam here. Down already under 20. Yeah, Henry, you're not fooling anybody down there. They're going to go forward, tries to get Madness, and actually with some assistance is able to. They only need 4 more regular clams to do it. Jared's actually in a spot where he can sneak one through, but he opts to fight instead. Takes another out. It's just Henry. This is their spawn. This is their spawn. What happened?
They got a little mixed up here. So here is Leafy at this point, trying to apply some pressure. Here comes another power clam. That's going to knock it down to 11 plus 4. Let's see if they have the currency to deposit into the bank to close things out with a victory. Still looking for a couple of clams. They got one more on the right there. It is Duck Gang in some deep, troubling waters at this point. They're going to get a little sigh of relief as the barrier goes back up. But whew, a lot going on right there, Milana.
There is definitely a lot going on there. I think what Duck Gang really needs to do is to be able to, get at least 1 pick. To be able to stop that pressure from entering their spawn is going to be key to be able to do that. So using that tactical or Red Shell able to get one, getting Madness is going to be really big for Duck Gang.
Saw Red Shell with that Zipcaster trying to get behind, wasn't able to get that last splat. Here's Drift T with that squeezer trying to take on the Inkjet. Henry moving closer. However, 4-3 advantage for Jackpot, and this is how it's been the entire game so far, 9. It's been Duck Gang at a disadvantage.
Yeah, and you see just one slight misstep there. I think there may have been an opportunity to take out that landing Inkjet. They weren't sure where the other members were. Now it's going to be an odd sort of scuffle in the middle there. .Q took out a couple, but I think Red Shell returned the favor. So look at this. This is an interesting spot that these two are jumping, but there weren't enough members of Duck Gang to take advantage of those stealth jumps in either. So you see, again, if you hesitate even a little bit moving forward, this is what it looks like, another wipeout.
You hear the ooh from the crowd, another wipeout. Here's a chance for Jackpot to close it out. They're still hungry. They're not full. They pick up the victory 3-0. They get the sweep and jackpot. Moving on to the finals, and we are getting an up-close and personal view as to why many people feel Jackpot, not only one of the best teams in North America, but possibly the world, as they make quick work of Duck Gang 3-0 as they move on. And Milana, just technical, methodical, overwhelming from Jackpot.
You know, like I said before, their mechanics are just really at the top of the game. They compete toe-to-toe with top-tier Japanese teams, and really they are proving it here. They're just showing how oppressive that force is that is Jackpot.
And 9, I think that's the word, oppressive. There's never really a moment where you can exhale, catch your breath, feel like you've got the momentum here against Jackpot. And a lot of that, I'm sure, is based on this new meta with the Tacticooler and how it allows them to be so aggressive throughout the game.
Yeah, and I mean this is a nice way. You don't have to think anymore when you have Tacticooler up. And what I mean by that is when you are worried, when you're not sure what the opponent is doing, that slows you down. And the worst thing that you can be in Splatoon 3 is passive. If you're Tacticoolered up, you say, okay, I'll go and attack this position of the map and we'll see what happens. If I get taken out, my respawn is down to just a few frames, I'll jump right back in, build my special, and let's see what we can get from that position. Jackpot has always been willing to play that way, and now this all fits with exactly how they want to play.
So Jackpot will move on to the finals, and of course with Splatoon 3, deep cut, they've got a big man. We've got a big board. Let's go to our man, Zach, standing by with some of our winning moments from this last match. Zach, what do you got for us, our friend?
Well, welcome in, and what a fantastic first set there. Even though it was a sweep, we saw some really key pivotal moments there, and we're going to start with game 1 here, TC on Eeltail Alley. So looking at the first bit of this one here, we see the Tactical are already out. We see Madness doing a little bit of sharking. We see everybody up all the way here at the top, and nobody's gone down yet. So let's go ahead and play the clip and see how this one plays out. .Q going to be really effective in this one, so they're going to go through, pop the inkjet right at the bottom. So right there, you're not able to see that jump point from the top here. Gets one. Going to look for a second. They're going to use a little bit of indirect damage there to get Drifty and pop them right there. So that's another one gone. They're going to look for the third there onto Kino, and they're going to take multiple bits of damage there. The burst bomb's going to go off. The suction bomb's going to go off. And that entire time, this area right here is where the play is happening. It's completely off of the tower, and that's why they're able to knock out in that first one. Now we move on to the second game and our second clip here. So that one's going to be Splat Zones on Humpback Pump Track. As we play the clip here, it's going to be an absolute duel between Red Shell and Q. Q going to have to back off here and even pop the splash wall, you'll see, in order to divert the attention. But before that, they're going to go ahead and get the triple ink strike out. As the Zipcaster comes in, if we pause there, they're going to have just a bit of room to pop that splash wall and save themselves from the splat bomb. So as we carry on with the play, Red Shell going to have to deal with a splat bomb of their own right there as they get taken out. Now we move on to later in the game. So later in that game, this is the map overhead. Let's stay paused here for a second. We have 29-26 here is the score. We have just the one member down over here. The map is completely so far in Jackpot's favor. We see the rest of Duck Gang, we have Red Shell pushed all the way back over here, Kino kind of in the middle, and we have at the bottom here Leafy Madness just getting taken down on the zone, which if you're getting taken down right on top of the objective, that's going to lead to further pain from the team that's in control. So let's play the clip here. .Q in that sort of lip area. That's where a lot of anchor players like to sit. The Booyah Bomb's going to go out. Madness going to be back in the fight, going to jump to a teammate, and Drifty up here going to be effectively in a 1v2, so they'll have to back off. And Red Shell getting so unlucky jumping into that triple ink strike. They're going to fall, and it's a full wipeout as a result, and they're going to have a little party on the wall there just to have some fun. And now game 3, that final game to secure the sweep. We take a look here at a fantastic double power clam pop on the objective. Let's take a look, and it all starts yet again with .Q. Let's play the clip here and show that they've already got the power clam at the ready. 16, both of them up here had power clams, and they're going to get so much progress on the point, all the way up to 11 now, and it's going to result in Madness, who's been sitting on this box. If we pause there and go back just a little bit, Madness sitting on this box right here almost the entire game. They're going to be sitting right behind this facet of the square, of the cube, to really get some pot shots onto folks like Kino and Drifty. And as we move forward here and play this clip, they're going to secure that area even further. or even further. That area becomes so pivotal to being able to lock them out of what's called the pity clam, gives them another wipe out there, and allows them even to have some fun on the objective. So really, really fun. That was such a great effort. I love that we're seeing such great competitive efforts here from both these teams, even in our 1v4 matchup. But for now, let's go ahead and send it back over to Jordan, 9, and Milana at the desk.
All right, give it up for Zach. Some top-notch stuff right there. Appreciate the insight, Zach. All right, let's go ahead and check out the bracket after our first matchup has concluded. Jackpot getting the sweep over Duck Gang 3-0, which means they are sitting in finals, waiting for the winner of our next two teams, Starburst and Crush Soda. We'll get to more on them here in just a moment, but this will be exciting. Again, it's best of 5 in this semifinal as these teams prepare to take the stage here in just a moment. And a quick note on Starburst here, 9. This is the team. This was the team in North America for so many years, but as of late, the changes in the meta, the rise to Jackpot might threaten their throne.
Yeah, they enter this tournament as the defending champion, but not as the favorite. And we have not been able to say that about Starburst for the entire duration of Splatoon 3. They haven't been able to play as much recently. Some of their players have been on break. The meta has changed, whatever it is you'd like to say. But Jordan, this is still Starburst. Can you really vote against the champion, the presumptive champion that has been here from the start? It's a hard thing to do. We'll see if they can match up with Jackpot here today.
Well, let's go ahead and meet Starburst as they get set to take the stage here. Their first matchup against Crush Soda. Here are the members of their team. And Milana, let's go ahead and welcome them to the stage.
First, we have Ice, followed by Biscuit. And qīngqiú will be playing with Starburst today. And the captain of Starburst, last but not least, Bran.
And that is the interesting substitution. It's qīngqiú, the powerhouse, coming off the bench here, 9, as far as what he's going to bring to the table for Starburst.
Yeah, people watching at home are probably stunned. Bagel has been integral to the success of this Starburst roster for so long, but they feel like they need the added aggression that qīngqiú brings.
Let's go ahead and meet Crush Soda as 9. You welcome them to the stage.
Starting off with Wave, the backline extraordinaire. Twig, one of the best 52 Gal players to ever touch the game. Goss, one of the most mechanically sound players you will ever see. And the captain of Crush Soda, the Splash-O-Matic aficionado, Thunder!
And Milana, as you look at Crush Soda, it's kind of like Gohan the first time he's taken on Cell. All this youth, all this power, doesn't know how to put it together. But this is something that we're going to keep an eye on. This could be the next great team here in North America. They have shown some signs of absolute brilliance.
Listen, momentum is the name of the game. We talked about Jackpot's momentum, and if there is a team that can utilize momentum, it would be Crush Soda.
Starburst versus Crush Soda. Starburst, don't forget, entered the Splatlands Invitational nearly a year ago. They won it. The Splatoon 3 North American Championship 2023. First place, they won it. So Crush Soda, though, don't forget, third place earlier this year, the Splatoon 3 North American Championship 2023. We've got Splat Zones coming up here now, 9. And with Splat Zones, again, that initial push means a lot, but what do you do once you have the zone can really dictate how the game goes.
Yeah, and that's one of the other things that the Tacticooler has changed is in the past, it was always a bit of a conversation that you would have to have. Do we push well ahead of our Splat Zone to try to take opponents out and not let them build up their specials to come back in? But that could really get away from you. You could sometimes throw away the advantage that you had worked so hard to build up for yourself. But now with the Tacticooler, you have weapons that typically are only meant to go in, play AoE, play aggro, fight the opposing opponent down there, and then you can respawn in time to be back when you need to defend the zone.
And Milana, we're heading to Museum del Alfonsino, and this stage with Splat Zones, what have you noticed? What's going to be critical for both these teams?
I think what really needs to be, acknowledged is that in the middle of that Splat Zones, there's a big spinner. However, the spinner's paint doesn't actually, I'm pretty sure, doesn't actually account for the Splat Zone. I just want to make sure that 9 approves what I'm saying.
Oh, Encyclopedia 9, I appreciate it. And of course here, it's a matter of 9. Once you take the zone, how far do you push to that next level of the opponent's spawn? Because as you make your way up there, you expose yourself just a little bit. What is the best way to make sure you handle that push after you secure the zone?
Yeah, Museum d'Alfonsino is such a vibrant map to play Splat Zones on because you can move up to the spinner on your opposing side of the map. So it's not like maybe a Hagglefish where you would go up and you know, you would be in the opposing spawn, but you'd be exposed. You would be in a lower area. They would have the height advantage. Here, that's not the case. You have natural cover, you have natural mobility, and you can even take high ground on the opponent when they're respawning. This is one of the few maps in the game that plays that way in Splat Zones.
To go right back at you, we were having a conversation. You were watching some of the scrims with these teams before they hopped on the big stage. And you talked about Twig, and that 52 gal might be causing a ruckus here potentially. What did you see?
I saw a really, really good player of the 52 gal. A weapon that, as popular as it has been, is not the most commonly played these days. That thing takes only 2 shots to splat the opponent, put it on a splat wall, get some continuation in a cycle. If you are not prepared to fight this weapon, it can punish you in a hurry.
So this is Starburst here, Milana. They've been to the big stage plenty of times. They have been the top team. This is nothing new to them. But still, when you get to this point, there are nerves. Communication is key, and making sure you limit your mistakes, I imagine.
And, you know, we want to mention, like Nine said, that Bagel had been playing with Starburst for a significant amount of time. And while qǐngqiú isn't a stranger to this team, I still think that there may be, you know, some kinks that they have to figure out there.
Which is interesting as well, too, Nine, because you go from Bagel with that in-zap. They decide to cut the carbs, bring qǐngqiú on, and now you've got the bucket. How does that change things for them?
Well, the reason that that change is made is because you feel as though you don't have the aggression when you need it. We've talked so much. You saw what Madness is capable of. Madness and Leafy, that duo, they play the Nautilus, they play the shooter, and they play the bucket. Well, let me tell you, a lot of tournaments have been won by qǐngqiú and Biscuit doing that exact same thing. And even though, as Milana noted, qǐngqiú isn't a permanent member of Starburst, he's played with all these players before and certainly played with Biscuit for a long time. So they felt that they can move Bran over to the NZAP if that's necessary to play that support role, but that qǐngqiú was going to give them another gear in their attack that they simply didn't have with their original roster.
And that support role's very important, Milana, because a lot of us might hop online and play, and nobody's really thrilled to go online and play support. They want to go and try and be aggressive. But what is that support role going to do for these teams? Why is that role so important?
It's just, Splatoon is a game where you need to have turf on the ground. And generally, support players are the ones to focus on that, to be able to kind of go where your team needs you. So, you know, you see your teammate going out for a 1v1, make it a 2v1. Let's make it better odds for ourselves.
Yeah, shout out to the blue-collar workers that ink turf for all of us so we can go ahead and swim around. And, you know, really with Starburst, there's all this chatter, Nine, of, oh, they aren't the same team they used to be. Here comes Jackpot. It really feels like that can help rally a team and bring them together.
Well, I talked to Brandon a little bit earlier, and he said that he still felt confident. He feels as though they have another gear when it's necessary. And that is going to be put to the test right here because, again, Crush Soda, we've talked so much about Starburst versus Jackpot, but we'll hold our horses here. This is a team in Crush Soda that has been on this stage before. The stage fright was gone in the last event that they competed in, and they are every bit as mechanically sound as Jackpot, and Jackpot would probably admit that themselves if you ask them. So again, if you feel like you need to keep pace with a strong opponent, you have to prove it right here in semifinals before you even get the chance to fight the big boys.
And Nine talks about being mechanically sound here, Milana. What are some of those key principles that you want to be sound in when you look at some of these modes? What are the things that these top teams are doing consistently well that has helped them get to this point?
I think, you know, it really sometimes even comes down to simply being able to hit your enemy. That sometimes you have to know exactly what kind of weapon you're playing. So a weapon such as the 52 gal has a lot of spread, but being able to have that, you know, familiarity with that weapon, you'll be able to hit your shots much better than if you just picked it up.
I'm going to add that to my own personal notes. Aiming is good. Okay, got that down here. So this is a young Team 9. You've mentioned before they are no longer surprised by the bright lights. They are cool, calm, collected. I imagine there's excitement when you do match up against a Starburst, a chance to really show how much you've improved over the last 5-6 months.
Absolutely, and you can't get to the top without facing some monsters. So you better believe that these youngsters here on Crush Soda understand that this is the team they've been chasing so long, and you only get so many opportunities with real stakes on the table to beat them here. You know, you want to be the darling of the tournament here. Everybody has been counting you out at this point. Everybody has been saying it's a Jackpot versus Starburst thing. Crush Soda has the opportunity to score one of the biggest upsets in Splatoon history if they pull this off.
Another special we've been seeing a lot of, Milana, is that inkjet. We haven't given it a whole lot of love so far just because we've been talking about Crab and Tacticooler, but a lot of these backliners, these support players, why do they love that inkjet so much?
I think being able to use that inkjet to kind of push forward. So even if you are a backliner, you're using that aggressively to push forward, and it really forces your opponents to take a step back. And that gives your teammates an opportunity to move forward along with you.
Getting set for our first matchup, Starburst taking on Crush Soda. The winner of this best-of-5 semifinal matchup will face off against Jackpot in the finals. Ice, Biscuit, Bran, qǐngqiú substituting in for Bagel. And then for Crush Soda, Goss, Thunder, Twig, and Wave. One of the more talented and youngest teams we've seen in a while as they get set. You know, keep in mind, Crush Soda, they swept their qualifier event number 2, had no issues whatsoever. So this is a team that is used to getting on a roll. The wait is over. We are getting set for Starburst versus Crush Soda. Splat Zones, Museum, Delfonsino. Everyone's paid their admission as we get ready. And 9, let's go to these loadouts. That was the big question with Starburst here.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest winners you will see of this current patch is the Snipe Rider 5H. This is a weapon, a backliner, one of the only backliners that can build up a nice Tacticooler for you here. Both of the Charger players, Ice and Wave respectively, will be trying to make plays on it as well. You saw Biscuit try to move forward there and make a play. Nothing to be had. Ice gets caught off by himself here. Hold on a minute. It's going to be all Crush Soda here at the beginning. Ice respawns. qǐngqiú goes in and makes his play. When he's Tacticoolered up, you know he's looking for the play.
Yeah, Crush Soda popping the lid on an early lead, but now it's Starburst right back at it. They have zone as that Tacticooler fades for Crush Soda. Here's qǐngqiú applying a little bit of pressure, the triple ink strike, and here's an opportunity for Starburst to take the lead here in Milana.
They do, but you know, Crush Soda does hold on to that zone. They are just 1 point down, but Thunder is kind of in a precarious situation right there. But, you know, setting themselves up with a crab tank on that spinner with the cooler, I think is going to be big.
Thunder in that crustacean battle apparatus claiming the high ground, giving the lead to Crush Soda. Just under 4 minutes left so far, though, 9. It's been Crush Soda that has really controlled this game.
Yeah, they've done a great job there. Thunder got 2 players down to open that up. They would love to close out the deal on Thunder. They're not going to be able to. Keep that in mind, folks. That weapon is going to build up a crab tank incredibly quick. Brandon's going to now try to go back and close it out here with Twig. One manages to get away, and that could be a big deal as well because it could slow it down. Wave goes ahead and trades out another. Look at this. They have some specials to work with here. Starburst has 0. What value can this crab get?
Let's see what Crush Soda can do here. They help slow down the momentum of Starburst, and now Thunder perched up way up high, just trying to provide a little bit of support. Starburst takes the zone again, though, 7 seconds away from stealing the lead. 3 members on the field for both teams. Starburst now with the advantage as they take the lead, Milana, and now they're moving deeper into Crush Soda territory.
They are, and it really is just showing that, you know, Starburst is playing the slow and steady race, that they are not letting the pressure get to them. qǐngqiú sharking here. Yeah, oh, hopefully being able to pick off that Snipe Rider is going to be big.
However, Crush Soda trying to storm back, and they take the zone. They tack on a 58-second penalty, and now with only 2 members of Starburst on the field, they're going to go camping in Starburst territory, 9.
Yeah, and let's hope Starburst doesn't regret that. qǐngqiú had an opportunity to get a couple of them there. Goss makes good on that same game. Gets another! Biscuit goes down there a little too far forward. That checkpoint is already gone, Jordan. Thunder is in a great spot here, looking to move around, certainly trying to build up a crab tank. If that gets up here on the top, it could be hugely dangerous. Another one goes down. Brand desperately trying to find somebody with this crab tank. They are able to get it, but they need to watch out. This lead's so dangerous.
5 seconds left. Can Crush Soda continue to build the lead? And Crush Soda takes the lead as they bubble up in front. Just over 2 minutes left. 10 seconds left. Can Starburst help out? You see the triple link strike coming in. Is it going to be enough down the stretch? No! Crush Soda coming in and getting the win. You see the jubilation. And the youngsters, no longer the new kids on the block, they pick up game 1 in Milana. Goss is all we got to say. Goss with those 2 splats really turned the tide late in this game.
We talked about the uniqueness of Museum Delfonsino, that you're able to perch so far up, so far into the enemy spawn, and being able to get those 2 splats on Starburst was huge because that made that respawn delayed for the whole team.
Starburst If you ink them, they will splat. That's what Crush Soda is finding out after this first game. And 9, how about the confidence boost that gives you after you go back and forth and go into their house and hold it down?
Well, and I think you also look at the comps. Those teams were running basically the same thing here. And you saw qǐngqiú was up there in the opposing spinner. He was able to get one, but he wasn't able to get that all-important second player in a similar position to where Goss was. Goss got the one player, then got the second player, and as Milana noted, you can tacticooler up all you want. When you respawn back after you tacticooler, your special meter, listen, you are mortal at that point. Taking those 2 players out slowed it all down, made sure that those 2 specials weren't going to be a factor in the back half of that game. And when you and your opponent are looking for the same thing and you just do it better, sometimes that can be the biggest affirmation.
You said it, 9, mechanically gifted in ways most of us could only dream. And for Crush Soda, the question coming in, Milana, was can they keep their composure? Here they are on a big stage. They lose the lead. It feels like Starburst has all the momentum, but they do what you're supposed to do in that situation, and they execute it. That is huge for a young team that continues to put it all together.
I mean, there is no team quite like Crush Soda in that they really just move forward and go with the flow. So if they are feeling the momentum, they're feeling that the elation of winning that first game against Starburst, and they're gonna go with that flow, who knows where that flow will bring them.
Game 2 will bring us tower control, and we'll go ahead and pop a wheelie back to Humpback Pump Track here, 9. And so again, we've talked about this stage. We just saw it not too long ago. What do we see with tower control? There's a few variations to what we saw earlier in Splat Zones.
Yeah, this is such an interesting tower control map because it's one of the few maps where the tower really sort of moves left to right and right to left more so than it does forward. Don't get me wrong, it will still move towards the opponent's spawn, but the bulk of this tower path moves left to right. And what that means in a broad sense is that you as the defending team can really shoot at that thing from all over the place, and it can be very difficult to get big scoring chances here. I'll be honest, Jordan, it's been a long time since we've seen top-level teams compete in this map mode.
Well, here we have it on one of the biggest stages imaginable, and with tower control, Milana, there's a lot of coordination as far as that support player that's going to ride the tower. What do their teammates need to keep in mind as you're chugging along trying to chew up some points?
So we really want to make sure that the teammates are pushing ahead. We've talked about this time and time again, that being able to push ahead of the tower and give that tower a clear path would be great. And not only that, but we were talking about the tacticooler meta. So with the support player being able to put the tacticoolers on top of that tower, giving their teammates a place to jump back to and just grab a soda and go.
Yeah, really critical that you can put it on the tower there, 9, because then the troops can just keep rolling in. And it looks like we're getting set here. Tower control, Humpback Pump Track, Crush Soda taking game 1. They're smelling an upset here. Can Starburst respond? We'll see what they can do here in game 2. And 9, you're nodding your head already. What do you see, my friend?
Well, this is the comp right here. If there was ever going to be a comp that Starburst could remain active all the way throughout and truly maximize what all of their players are capable of, it was going to be this. Let's put Biscuit over on the Nautilus. Let's put Ice on the ballpoint, and let's let Brand be our support player right now as the rest go out and fight. But keep in mind, there is now a Charger on the other team. Wave has gone with the Z&F Splatter Scope, and that weapon going to go off. Nothing more so than qǐngqiú.
A juiced up qǐngqiú getting a triple splat until they finally go down, but then trade with Thunder, so essentially taking out all 4 members. That's going to be a really nice start here out the gate for Starburst, but Milana, it's only 9 points.
It is only 9 points, but really being able to start building that momentum. Unfortunately, Ice getting taken out of that ink jet, and this might be a Crush Soda's opportunity to move forward using that tri-strike to kind of push Starburst back into their base this way.
Here's Goss just chilling in the middle. Tower now in control of Crush Soda. They take a slight lead as they start to chip away at that first checkpoint. Here comes the Killer Whale coming out. A couple of juiced up members as well, too. Here's Thunder. Thunder picking up the splat, and here comes the checkpoint. Number 2 in the sights for Crush Soda 9.
I mean, folks, I have half an auditorium and headphones on right now, and I can hear them screaming every time they take somebody out here. If you don't think that Crush Soda wants this more than anything, you don't know. They have made good on every single fight. They are still 4 up right now. They're using one special. They have another special. They have cycled 3 specials. It's just Ice who's desperately trying to stall and gets 2. Folks, that may have saved the game for them. A wipeout, and Starburst is not yet gone.
Starburst with a huge defensive stand. That'll pause things, but how about this difference in points? 24-91 advantage Crush Soda. Over 3 minutes left. Still plenty of time, but Starburst is going to have to be even more efficient moving on. Let's check in on Thunder here for Crush Soda, trying to move around, working through that turquoise ink. Starting to move forward, trying to go one-on-one. Picks up the splat there, Milana.
Yeah, they do. And that is 3 down on the side of Crush Soda. And this is going to give Starburst a great opportunity to move forward. Biscuit positioning himself in that on the right corner, excuse me, just sharking and providing information for the rest of Starburst using those point sensors.
Triple Ink Strike coming down. That'll pause the tower momentarily. We'll see if Starburst can scurry back on it. Here comes an Inkjet from Ice, putting pressure on Thunder. Wave on that backline support. Still trying to apply a little bit of aggressiveness. However, tower's going to return here, 9, as we get back to mid.
Yep, Goss doing a great job going in on this left side. You saw that Ice had to turn half of that Inkjet back around simply to close it down, and this is why. If you let one player get behind you, we can super jump to it, and we can make it 2. All of the position has fallen apart right here. Goss will win yet another engagement here with Goss, and now once again, it's just Ice. There's only 2 minutes left in the game, and Starburst has yet to find their footing.
Milana, you don't want to see Goss near your spawn with 2 minutes left. We learned that last game. And here is Crush Soda. They are cruising to the 3rd checkpoint. They are chopping away at it at this point. Under 2 minutes left. Still in control. There's a lot of carnage happening right now. But that's going to mean Starburst with the advantage on the map at the moment. But Milana, they have got to hurry with 1:45 left.
It really is not that much time left. And tower control, I believe, is one of the slowest modes to be able to make pushes because you have to wait for that tower to make it back into middle before you can even make a push for your team.
90 seconds left. Starburst with the tower. They might have to be flawless moving forward. This black bomb coming in. qǐngqiú avoiding that. qǐngqiú just being patient. Has everybody in their sights. Tacticooler on top of the tower. Here comes the triple link strike raining down. That forces Ice to move here, 9.
And you see that they tried to sneak Twig back behind. They learned you can't use the same trick twice on Starburst, so they fire that way to close it out. But all the while, the other members have done okay. qǐngqiú has an opportunity to open the game. Twig moves up with Goss over the top to close it out. But now Biscuit is here. Wasn't able to close that one out here. They're at checkpoint 2. They've stalled it. Just 1 minute left. Every single splat so crucial at this point.
Goss trying to get one more. Goss moving to the left, taking on Biscuit and qǐngqiú at the same time. Down goes Goss as Ice with that Inkjet gives some breathing room for Starburst, but you picture this is going to be the last push for them with under 35 seconds left. Triple Ink Strike ready to go for qǐngqiú. What does Starburst need to think here, Milana, with 30 precious seconds left?
They're going to need to get these picks. They have to make sure that Twig doesn't turn around. They get that pick on Twig, and it is good. qǐngqiú needs to get these picks, needs to win these 1v1s. Goss, unfortunately, wiggles their way out of spawn, and the tower has no... It's just going back. Starburst needs to step on that tower.
A critical splat as qǐngqiú went down. 5 seconds left. They're on the tower. They're trying to take this thing into overtime. Can Crush Soda take a commanding 2-0 lead? Here is Starburst trying to avoid this deficit. They've got members on the tower, Tacticooler on there. They're at checkpoint number 2. They've got to get through that. Remember, 18 is what they're trying to get to. It's winding down. It's 4-3 advantage, 4-2 advantage. Starburst, can they steal it at the end? 3 seconds left. Triple Ink Strike. Is it going to be enough at the end? Does it stop it? 1 point away. No! No! Crush Soda able to hold on. How about the stop by them? Wow!
Unbelievable. They stalled that entire time for one final triple Ink Strike. They threw it at the right time. They got enough players when Biscuit got those 2. I thought that was it. They were tacticoolered up. They were going to cycle. You saw them drop back to try and touch the tower to get those final 2 points. There's no right or wrong decision at that point. It's all instinct, but perfect timing. And Crush Soda now up 2-0 over the defending North American champions.
Everybody, exhale. Milana, you talk about saving your best for last when it is needed most. And that triple Ink Strike has earned a spot in the Hall of Fame for defensive stops at the end. You had Starburst with all the momentum, 1 point away, but it was enough from Crush Soda. We talk about poise, organization, And that was it in spades down the stretch.
That was such a difficult decision-making process that Starburst had to make. Do I hop on the tower and take this triple ink strike to the face, or do I let it run its course and possibly lose the tower to Crush Soda? And you know, at that height, is there really a right decision? It really is so tough.
Crush Soda up 2-0 over Starburst. 9, I'm sure the chat be wild right now as they are seeing what's going on. And so now we get set for Clam Blitz on Scorch Gorge. And this is, again, a lot of game left for Starburst. This is a team that has 3-0'd plenty of teams before, but now being down 2-0 in single elimination, you start to feel the pressure just a little bit more here.
I mean, if there is any pedigree left in this machine, you'd better summon all of it right now. Scorch Gorge Clam Blitz is going to be a very difficult mode for them to really stage their comeback on, because as we watch that Humpback Pump Track game, you saw that the members of Crush Soda were willing to send one member all the way behind you, whether it be Twig or Goss. One of the things that 52 gal of Twig is so strong at is that weapon can be an absolute thorn if you try to take it on 1v1. That makes it the perfect weapon to go off on a solo mission to take apart a push from the inside. Scorch Gorge, one of the widest maps that you will see. I think this plays into what they're looking for.
Remember, Starburst, enter the Splatlands Invitational, the champions last year. Splatoon 3 North American champions of this year, down 2-0 to Crush Soda. So we've got Clam Blitz and Scorch Gorge. And if you're Crush Soda here, Milana, you have to, again, remind yourself, be composed. I imagine you don't want to play outside of your comfort zone here and just continue to do what you've been doing, and that is being mechanically sound throughout the entire game.
I think that if there's one mistake that Crush Soda could make, it would be to underestimate Starburst at this time, because Starburst has just so much reputation for being able to reverse sweep and to be able to collect themselves. So we'll get into this next match and see what happens.
Crush Soda, a sweep here would go down in the annals of one of the biggest upsets ever in competitive Splatoon. Starburst, can they hold off? We'll see. Loadouts, 9. Go ahead.
Well, both teams have opted to switch back over to that Snipe Rider 5H to build up their Tacticooler here, so they all get the sense that this is going to be a more progressional and long-term map. One already going down. Twig, that's one way to get rid of him. Just go ahead and throw a bomb behind that splash wall. 2 down already for Crush Soda. Thankfully, they do have Thunder here on the Crab Tank to at least give Starburst something to think about. They close him out quick. This is going to be Starburst's opportunity here at the start to gain some map control and, more importantly, control that claim economy.
And they have a 4-3 advantage on the map right now. They're just gathering those clams. 13-2 advantage as far as the groceries go. And now if you're Crush Soda, you're starting to get pushed back a little bit. Milana, they got to start getting some picks here.
They really do. We saw one jump back from Crush Soda back to spawn. And, you know, I think that was a really smart decision to be able to kind of hold that corner and not allow Starburst in with those clams.
qǐngqiú going down once again, and how about Wave applying the pressure here, has the special ready to go, going to patiently wait. You see the Tacticooler out also for Crush Soda. Neither team has made that initial push, but you see the clams have now evened up here, 9. 13-7 advantage Crush Soda.
Yeah, the door is open right here. You can sense it already starting to swing the other way. They're going to clear qǐngqiú out quickly. qǐngqiú was able to take one down, so maybe a door stop, if you will. But the game was starting to get away from Starburst there once Wave got that initial pick. They're still trying to fight their way out of spawn. They would certainly love to close out one of these shots here, and they are able to. That is Twig down, so they will move forward here. Brand's going to try to build up another Crab Tank, but I am amazed at how good Crush Soda is at simply not getting splatted. It's unbelievable.
This feels like a defensive battle on the pitch where your first goal is going to determine the winner here, and both teams still in mid just fighting over it. Here's Brand. Brand goes down, so now it's 4-3 Crush Soda advantage. Let's see if Twig can move forward with that 52 gal. Has to dodge behind that wall. Can't do it in Milana. Here's qǐngqiú with the chance to give the advantage to Starburst.
You know, qǐngqiú is going to be a key player for Starburst. We've seen the way that he is able to get the picks to get these pushes started, but Goss is saying, no, thank you. You can take that and go back to spawn.
You can hear a pin drop in this audience. They are feeling the tension of this Crush Soda team trying to score this huge upset. Who's going to score first here in Clam Blitz? Nearly 2.5 minutes in. Nobody's even gotten a power clam remotely close to the basket. 9, how does the team break through here?
I mean, you look at that. They spent all that time shuffling it around, and Bran was more than happy to take that time to build his own crab tank to shut it down here. But again, they just haven't quite tracked where it is. Kyo has been jockeying around in the center with Goss for so long on those sloshers. Finally, Biscuit runs through. They once again aren't able to close down Thunder. Need to do it. They're not even able to get the trade. Finally, Kyo comes in for a bit of revenge. But again, it's trade back and forth. There's no momentum to be had. There's no sustainability.
Just over 2 minutes left. Neither team has even attempted a shot yet on the basket. Here's that Ink Storm coming in. That's going to push Wave back just a little bit. Wave hanging on to that power clam. Tacticooler comes out. They have the advantage, though, when it comes to the clams, Milana. 11-3, 12-3 now as they really want to try and make their push through this triple Ink Strike.
We see all of the specials coming out from Crush Soda, hoping to maybe get 1 splat, 2 splats off of Starburst to make that push happen. And they do. They do get 2 down on Starburst, giving an opportunity, hopefully, for Crush Soda to break that barrier.
3-2 on the stage. Crush Soda, they're getting closer to the barrier. They busted open. They've got a 40-point lead with 90 seconds left, and that could be insurmountable here, 9.
Yeah, with the way this game has gone on, that might be the case. Wave going to sit forward a little bit and then jump out. Somebody jumped to Wave there. Unbelievable ingenuity right there. What creativity. Twig jumps over there, does get punished for it as well. Thankfully, Bran moved up at the time, but they need to control mid. They finally are able to pick out where Thunder is. This is the most blue we have seen on the map here. This is going to be their best opportunity. They would love to take the lead right here. They should have the resources to do it, but Kyo going down might be what they needed not to happen.
And just these timely splats of Kyo have really saved Crush Soda, but here it is, the young team. They might sweep Starburst. They're 45 seconds away. Starburst, they're gonna have to dig in deep if they even want to stay alive. Here's Biscuit being patient, trying to get the eyes on Spawn, but down they go before picking up 1. That makes it 3-1 though, Crush Soda, and now Milana all the momentum for Crush Soda.
There is, and Bran playing the sneaky plays and unfortunately getting spotted out by Goss, being forced to jump back. I think they're really going to need to kind of focus on getting clams, focus on the turf, getting those picks because the clock is ticking down.
14 seconds left, Power Clam in possession. 2 of them almost ready to go, but down goes another member. It's 4-2, 7 seconds left. Are we gonna see a changing of the guard here? Crush Soda up 2-0. Crush Soda in overtime. Down goes Goliath. Crush Soda with the sweep as they move on to the finals, taking down Starburst 3-0. And right before our eyes, we see the next great up-and-coming team in 9. What a moment that is going to rock the world of competitive Splatoon.
We came into this event knowing that there was a chance for greatness, knowing that this was going to be the most competitive field that we had seen at a North American Championship. You can see them right now looking at the scoreboard, unbelievable. They probably don't even quite believe what they have done right now. I said before it, let's hold our horses here. Starburst versus Jackpot, the same thing that we've been saying for months now. Listen, if you had Crush Soda winning, I'm willing to believe that. Crush Soda has been taking big steps forward, and Twig joining that roster only made them stronger. But if you thought that Crush Soda was going to sweep a team that dropped zero games in the last North American Championship, and in the event before that, dropped 2 games, they lost more games in that set than in the last 2 North American Championships combined, Jordan.
Milana, we use the analogy of Gohan versus Cell with Crush Soda, and we know how that ended. And this is what we saw from Crush Soda. They are victorious, and it's just something magical when you see a team put it all together. And this wasn't against just any opponent. This was Starburst. They ate through the whole pack of them and took care of business. And now you look at what this means for them as they now take on Jackpot here in the finals.
You know, there is just so much on the line, and for a team as young as this and maybe not as experienced on the big stage as Starburst, I think this is just going to be something that is so impressionable for them for the rest of their lives.
Let's send it over to Zach on the big board, because there are plenty of moments here, Zach, that were unbelievable as we saw the full scale of skill on display by Crush Soda.
Well, Jordan, if we learned anything today, it's that the 2 O's in Splatoon stand for the 3 O's that we just saw today, the couple of sweeps that just went through. But this one was not who we expected, I think, to make it to the grand finals here today. And let's take a look here at the clips that we have, starting with game number 1. That's going to be Splat Zones on Museum de Alfonsino. So to set the stage a little bit, of course, we have that lead for Starburst, but they have a giant penalty to start things out here. We also see Thunder here on the Crab Tank that's going to, of course, provide that long-range distance and pressure. But at this point, they've just gained control here. So as we play the clip, they're going to move forward into the opposing plat there of Starburst. Gauss is going to be the star of our hero here. They're going to climb up on top of the spinner with this slosher and sort of just stand out of sight of Starburst with the ability to slosh. If we pause right here, over on this right-hand side, we can see 1, 2, 3 members of Starburst coming through. So as we play the clip now, he's going to wait until just the right time. They're going to wait until the exact moment that they start to come through here, and then bam, kill pops out. That's 1 slosh, 70 damage. 2, they're going to get that pick, and they're going to stop Biscuit and Ice from pressing as far forward as they would have liked. So they're able to get Biscuit, and they're able to get out, more importantly, and retain what they've built up of the triple ink strike that they just used there. So fantastic job in game 1. Now moving over to game number 2. That one's going to be our tower control on Humpback Hump Track. We actually have 2 clips here, and for this one we're going to start with the star, the person who got a delayed 4K, if you will, and that being qīngqiú. So if we play the clip here, everyone alive so far, we have the Tacticooler going forward. They're going to have the buff and get the pick there onto Thunder. Now if we pause here yet again, we have 2 right here, Twig and Gauss, and we see Wave all the way back here at the very back. They have the Tacticooler buff, as denoted there, so they have that extra movement speed if they want to use it. So as we play the clip here, all they need is to hit their sloshes going forward. So bam, that's Twig gone, Gauss gone. They're going to use the box there as cover, and they're going to end up trading to get the 4K there onto Thunder. That's one of the things that main slosher excels at, is getting their shots up onto the high ground and doing fantastic damage. Moving on now to our 3rd clip, again, staying in game number 2. It's going to be the overtime. So we're going to start right at 1 second here. Already Starburst with 1 player down. That's going to be qīngqiú. So as we play the clip here going forward, Ice is going to be at the end of their inkjet here. So they have a lot of momentum. The zone, or rather the middle of the stage here, is all covered in that Starburst light blue. They're able to push forward here. We see Twig getting on top of this lip and placing that splash wall down. Look at all the incoming fire coming from these 2 over here. Bran and Ice trying to get that splash wall out of here as quickly as possible. And now Wave and Thunder coming back from up top here. But what we want to watch is that triple ink strike being built up. Once you see up here with the ZNF splatter scope that is built up, that's where trouble is going to start brewing for Starburst, who, as you can see, has already used their ink storm. So their ink storm's over there. Now we see the 3 come out on the tower, and that's going to force Biscuit to have to make a decision. So pause right here. This is exactly where they go down. That's the last of the 3 triple ink strikes. If they wait half a second, maybe they can get on the tower, but they have to make that 50-50 call, and unfortunately it doesn't work out for them as we continue playing the clip in that regard. So a fantastic overtime effort there to take Crush Soda up 2-0. And finally, the end of this sort of stalemate game 3 in Clam Blitz on Scorch Gorge. As we play the clip here, Bran is going to be sharking, but gets quickly spotted out. Somehow, he's able to get out and keep those 4 clams, which sounds great, but look at the clock there, and look at this number right here. I believe it goes all the way up to as high as 22 for the members of Crush Soda. All they have to do is get a power clam into that barricade right around when overtime's going to happen, and it stops what is arguably one of the longest overtimes in the game. So Gauss is going to press forward here on the back of that triple ink strike. They're going to try and look for a pick there onto the Crab, which they will. Bran having to get into that rolling formation in order to try and dodge some, but unfortunately it's not enough, and Crush Soda avoids what could have been a massive headache going into a super long overtime there on Clam Blitz. So congratulations to Crush Soda. Good luck to them in the finals, and of course, thanks to Starburst for a great job participating there. To check out the grand finals, let's throw back to the desk for Jordan 9 and Milana once again.
Well done, Zach. And again, big round of applause for Starburst as well as Duck Gang for their efforts. Gave us a lot of fun and excitement, but we get set for the finals here. Let's go ahead and check out the bracket now that we have our final set. And many people coming into this thought it was going to be Jackpot versus Starburst, but no. Crush Soda came crashing the party. They sweep Starburst, and now 2 teams that swept their semifinals will now meet in the finals. A few changes in the rules for the finals. The good news for all of us here, the finals are a little bit longer. It's going to be a best of 7 here for the finals, and we'll go over that here in just a moment. But I got to go back to Crush Soda again here, 9, and just what they accomplished, the jubilation. We've seen that a handful of times from teams that know they've done something pretty special here. What does this mean for them making it to the finals?
Listen, there are precious few players and precious few teams that have ever even gotten to compete in the finals of one of these events, and you just knocked out 4 of them that had done it many times. And I think more than anything, you can be proud in knowing that your brand of Splatoon was the right answer. In these games, you know, if something goes wrong, there are so many things to second guess, but they stuck to their guns, their shooters, quite literally, using a lot of those to fight through, and it worked every single time. They always had the answers, so there's no questions left for them to answer in terms of how they're going to prepare for this next set. Just keep doing it. It works.
Let's go ahead and check out the rules for our finals here. As we said, best of 7. Higher seed will choose the mode, lower seed will choose the stage. It'll be Jackpot, the higher seed, coming in. And then after the first game, the winning team will choose the mode, the losing team will choose the stage. Those are your game modes. We've seen all 4 of them on display. We haven't seen Rainmaker yet, surprisingly, because we've had 2 sweeps. But let's go check out some of the other items to keep an eye on, and more stages. Stages can only be played once, though. Keep that in mind, so you can't repeat any of the stages. Best of 7. The finals here. And so for Jackpot now, Milana, it's interesting for them. They're probably coming in thinking, we've got to take down Starburst if we want to be the champions. And I imagine backstage they're hearing and seeing what's going on, thinking, wow, what did we just see from Crush Soda? There's now an adjustment, I'm sure, on their end as far as what they've got to prepare for.
You know, it is going to be kind of like a battle of firecrackers. Both of these teams play extremely aggressively, and maybe Jackpot wasn't even anticipating this because they're just like, oh, Starburst is going to be in the finals, so maybe they have to do a little bit of rearranging of what kind of gameplay they want to put out there.
Well, let's go ahead and meet our 2 teams in the finals here. Let's start with the top seed, Jackpot. They made their way here with a sweep over Duck Gang. We've met their members once before, but welcome back to the stage. 9, go ahead and introduce the crew here.
You've got Leafy, who never saw a fight they didn't want to take. You've got .Q, one of the best backliners that you will ever see. Jared, one of the slipperiest players, and the captain of Jackpot, Madness!
Jackpot, hoping that all 3 7s come up once again as they look for a huge championship. Don't forget, they were 2nd at the Splatoon 3 North American Championship early in March. Now, their opponent, we've said it before, they have taken down Starburst on a 3-0 sweep. They have shocked the world. Give it up for Crush Soda, Milana.
We have a wave. We have Twig, the 52 legend. We have Goss, the mechanical king, and Thunder, the captain of Crush Soda.
I think the controllers are still hot from their last performance here as they get set to get on the sticks. And this has just been so exciting to see what Crush Soda has been able to do here. So once again, Jackpot will be your top seed. They'll settle into their seats and get ready. And now you've taken down 1 in Starburst here, 9. Oh, you just have Jackpot waiting for you right around the corner. You don't have a whole lot of time to sit on your laurels here.
No, and let me tell you, the hardest job is going to be beating up Jackpot. The second hardest job is us commentating this match that is going to be unbelievable. Players are going to spend half the time in the respawn circle. The other time that they're not doing that, they're probably going to be getting 2, 3, maybe even 4 down. They're going to jump in, they're going to fight, they're going to ask questions later. If you all have never seen what top-level Splatoon looks like and never seen how fast it can get, buckle up.
Our first game, Milana, will be Tower Control in Hagglefish Market, a map that everyone loves to play here. What can we expect to see in Tower Control here?
I think that you want to make sure that, you know, both teams have really, really strong backline players, and they can easily prop themselves up on those tents on the right side of each side of the map. So I think that they really need to look out for those. So I'm expecting maybe even a blaster to come out to, you know, move those backliners off of that positioning.
9, do you see that as well too? Possibly some AoE weapons coming into effect here in Hagglefish. I mean, both these teams very successful in their current loadouts.
Yeah, I think they will. The question is going to be what, though? Because we saw earlier Madness bring out the blaster, but that was on Eeltail Alley, which is a very compressed map here. You can fire at general areas and be fairly certain that you're going to hit somebody. This is a little more open here. It would not surprise me if he goes back to the slosher for this tower control map to duke it out with Goss. And you know, I think Goss probably happy to see that, saying, hey, I've taken down one legend of the bucket. Let's go ahead, Madness. What do you got?
As the players get set and get calibrated here, remember, it's a best of 7 here with the finals and bragging rights and beautiful trophy available for the winner. You're also going to get a custom painted Nintendo Switch Pro controller. So lots of goodies for the victorious team here. And Milana, at this point, these teams, you're over the initial nerves. You've been on stage, you played in the semifinals. It feels like we're really going to see both teams settle in here.
Yes, we certainly are. And you know, these teams are playing at the top of the game. Like you said, these are 2 of the best teams in North America, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing them duke it out.
I know this crowd is as well. We heard them gasp every single time we saw a Splat here, 9. They have been at the edge of their seats. They got here like 4 hours before we even started here, finding one of these seats. Everybody ready for this here soon? We see the flags up in the air. They are ready to roll and see a champion as they get set. There is the trophy as well. And 9, you look at everything that has changed in this game over the past year as we celebrate its birthday coming up here on September 9th. And it's really interesting to see just how many more weapons and how many strategies have now become viable thanks to all the balance changes and really the strategies these top teams have come up with.
It's strategy, and also the one fundamental aspect of Splatoon that never changes is the execution aspect of it. You know, you can strategize all you want, but make no mistake, any team that has made it up here today is one of the very best of their weapon from a mechanical standpoint, and you've seen what it can look like. How many times in that last set did we see a member of Starburst not quite finish off a member of Crush Soda because they knew the exact time to cut bait and swim backwards here? That stuff adds up. That's one more special you have to worry about here. Surviving just as mechanically important as taking out opponents. They have proven time and time again that they are the best at exactly that. And I love all these pennants that we've got going out in the audience here. This is incredible.
They are ready to roll, and so are we. You hear the guitar riff? Let's get this bad boy started. Tower control, Hagglefish Market, Jackpot, Crush Soda. Great audience. What else do you need here, 9, other than what we see with the loadouts?
Well, the answer is Range Blaster up here on the biggest stage in the North American Championship. One of the most beloved weapons of all time, this main weapon, the Range Blaster. But it should be noted, they have only one shooter on their composition, and it's going to be Jared. So they are really relying on Jared to do a lot in terms of keeping that map their color. Right now, though, it's looking a little blue.
It is blue, my boy. It's 3-2 on the map, though, as Jackpot takes the advantage at this point. Here is Jared. As we know, that tower is going to move slowly. Nobody's claimed it yet. 30 seconds in. Finally, Jackpot decides to do so as they move it forward. Here's .Q providing some anchor support. Let's check in on Madness. And there's the Range Blaster picking one off already, Milana.
We love to see it. That Range Blaster is actually made for that little gap right there under that tent. And we see Madness moving up, using that aggression. We talked about how forward moving Madness is and how he uses that momentum to his advantage.
Jackpot already through the second checkpoint. They are cruising towards the goal. And now it's the Crab as Thunder tries to fall down. They've got to put all their forces on that tower. They're at checkpoint number 3 as they finally slow the approach here. 4-2 on the stage for Crush Soda as they send the tower back here, 9.
And they took a heavy hit to get there. They almost missed that stealth jump. If they were much further away, Jared probably would have landed safely, and who knows what's going to happen at that point. But a push to 18. This will win you most games of tower control here. Thunder opting to go in and fight. It's not going to be a good idea when Q is up there matching up. That's one big difference that this team has. When .Q goes onto that ball point, it feels like support is coming from all angles.
Yeah, the opening haymaker from Jackpot has now really put a lot of pressure on Crush Soda here, Milana. And if you're Jackpot, you can maybe take your foot off the pedal offensively and focus on the defensive side of things.
Listen, it is much easier to win a fight if the fight comes to you. So if you have the lead, if you have, you know, the picks, why are you going to push it? Why should you push it?
Crush Soda takes the tower once again. You see Twig trying to hide behind that splash wall. Killer Whale coming out, trying to pick off Jared. Jared swims away quickly. Now they take down Madness. That's going to help open things up just a little bit as the tower returns, and now Crush Soda. Maybe this is an opportunity to move forward. Here's Twig trying to get out in front here, 9. You got to pave the way and make sure you're coordinated as you try to advance this tower.
But I want you to look here. All this time they spent to take down Jared. Twig got 2 people. There have absolutely no points come off the board here. And when I say how important it is to survive, to get into awkward angles, to make the opponent think again before they move forward, that's what it looks like. All of this, Crush Soda's been winning the last 30 seconds of the game, and it doesn't matter. They have absolutely no points to show for all that good play because there's always one last member of Jackpot there to make it difficult. But with 3 down, surely this is your opportunity.
.Q playing that anchor role, though. We saw that Inkjet really come down and provide some support, and now .Q retreats as we check in on Thunder. Thunder moving forward. Tower now in possession of Crush Soda, getting to the first checkpoint with under 2 minutes left. Triple Ink Strike ready to go here. So Milana, they've got the resources to continue to move forward.
And we see them do exactly that. They are 2 down, but Twig propping themselves up on that top right, and they do get taken out. But you know what? Wave is not far behind, and giving jumps back to the team, their teammates, is going to be big.
And 9, I look at .Q and what they continue to do with that Inkjet and just providing that backbone of support. They are not breaking. That has allowed Jackpot to hold strong.
Yeah, when you're confident that your teammates can move forward and win fights as necessary, it means that all you have to do is make sure that everything doesn't spiral out of control, whether that's with your main weapon, whether it's providing support, getting some revenge for a teammate if they get taken down, or using the Inkjet to simply blow up a whole situation.
Just over a minute left here. You see the lead for Jackpot. Crush Soda has threatened it, but the tower's in the middle. Now it's 4-1 on the map, though. Crush Soda had a chance with numbers. Here they are. Here's another opportunity for a push, Milana.
They are, and you know, their position is exactly what we want to see for a tower control map. We have Wave trying to get a pick with that Snipe Rider on the tower, and you know, Twig is just going at it, and Goss and Twig are just working together to be able to push that tower forward.
Couple of specials come out here, 9. 30 seconds left. They're getting through the second checkpoint, but .Q once again on the Inkjet.
And I also want to highlight how long Leafy waited to jump out and hold that charge there with that Nautilus Splatling. There were lots of specials there, but they weren't entirely sure where that Nautilus was. As soon as Leafy pops out there, that immediately clears that left side and makes it that much easier for .Q to clean up the scenario.
The timing of .Q going into the Inkjet has been critical for the defensive efforts of Jackpot. 4 seconds left. Jackpot just trying to hold things off. Tower back in control of Crush Soda. They got 2 members. They got to have one last gasp here. Members jumping in, but it's Jackpot that holds on, and thanks to that opening salvo, they pick up the victory. But Milana, you look at Top Gun, aka .Q, unbelievable what they were able to do to just provide that defensive anchor as Crush Soda could never break through.
I think if you're looking for a support player to, you know, just model yourself after, I think .Q is the person to do that. I think, you know, her positioning is just close enough to be able to be an oppressive force, but also just far enough that she isn't, you know, getting picked off by the other team.
And I'll add on to that as well. We've seen these other 2 teams, them being Starburst and Crush Soda, opt to use the Snipe Rider 5H to be the provider of their Tacticooler here. Jared has not switched off of the NZAP 85, and that is because they are confident that Jared will do his job, not get taken down too much, but also that .Q will be impeccable in supporting her teammates as they move forward there. That's a huge luxury because the Snipe Rider, as good as it is at building up that Tacticooler, it's not nearly the active force that a ballpoint Splatling is. It all comes together and plays to their strengths.
We've seen 7 games so far. We get to see Rainmaker for the first time. So let's check out the rules for Rainmaker. Yes, here we go. Carry the Rainmaker to the pedestal in the enemy's base. If neither team reaches the goal, the team with the shortest distance to the goal wins. And of course, those checkpoints come into play here. But you also look at the route that you need to take as well too, Milana. That plays a huge role. This is one of those modes where if you blink, you might miss it if a team can really get on a stampede here.
I think that, you know, there's a lot of variability when it comes to the pathing for Rainmaker, but specifically, we will be on Rainmaker Museum del Foncino, where there really is kind of only one path to take. So it really will focus the attention of each member of the team to be able to just know exactly where the Rainmaker is going to be.
It's the first blemish for Crush Soda so far in this championship here, Nine. How do they respond when you take a look at Rainmaker and what's required from them?
I mean, I think first and foremost, you have to look at how really the last 4 minutes of that game went, where things got out of control for you at the beginning. Tower control can do that at times here, but you kept pace and you had a lot of pushes that had some life, and you forced Jackpot to make the right play. So first and foremost, know that despite what the score may have said, you were not outclassed at any phase of the game. Then secondly, if you're going here to Museum d'Alfonsino, it is because you felt comfortable attacking, and we certainly saw what they were capable of in tower control. Let's rinse and repeat. It's a little bit faster, but they really feel like if they can get Twig up with that 52 gal, can be a thorn in everybody's side. We know where the crab tank can hit on this map from middle of the map, so Thunder's going to have a say, and what more needs to be said about Goss?
We'll see if the coins continue to fall for Jackpot or if Crush Soda can bubble up a victory here to tie things at 1-1. Reminder, best of 7 in these finals. And Milana, I think Nine said it very well. If you're Crush Soda, there's nothing to be disappointed about in that first game. It was a big initial push by Jackpot. You responded well and were really on the offensive for the rest of the time. So you don't need to overthink this coming up here soon.
I think you really have to kind of focus on, Sorry, let me start over. I think that Rainmaker is almost worse in that case, where if you let it drop and you get a team wipe and they push forward, I think it could be detrimental, so you gotta be careful.
Here we go, game 2 between Jackpot and Crush Soda. Nine, tell us the weapons our teams are heading into battle with.
I would not be stunned if they run to the finish with this exact composition. This is the winning comp for both of these teams. This is what they are most comfortable in, and you don't need to overthink it either. Expect to see a lot of this right now. Leafy's already down. They know where Madness is. Surely that's Madness down. That's 2 down. Someone is screaming in the crowd as 3 go down. And once again, it's just going to be .Q's Inkjet trying to stabilize, but Thunder's already there. How are you already up in the spinner, my man?
They clip .Q, and now the Rainmaker in possession of Crush Soda. They're just taking out members of Jackpot left and right as Wave moves forward, and already they're advancing it nearly to the first checkpoint. But my goodness, Milana, how about that opening strike?
That was just such impressive gameplay coming out from Crush Soda. They do get that first checkpoint, but they are 3 down, which may be the end of that push, giving Jackpot an opportunity to use that momentum to flip it on its head.
Madness and Leafy working deep into the spawn of Crush Soda, trying to apply some pressure. They pick up one against Goss, but down they go. That was a huge pickup by Wave here, Nine.
Yeah, if Wave didn't get that one and Thunder went down, you can kiss this lead goodbye. Instead, it is coming up Crush Soda right now, who really had so many opportunities in that first push to knock through. Jackpot held on just barely to keep themselves in striking distance. Twig's gonna get another one with fall off. Isn't even looking at the player who's right beneath them. He wants more. Moving right forward into the jaws of the enemy. Another wall is up here. Worked all the way back around here. How many points is Wave going to be able to find? Once again, .Q's Inkjet, the main defensive resource. They only got a couple more points out of that. I'm stunned at how well Jackpot is defending in these situations. Wipeout!
And we have the wipeout by Jackpot. That means Crush Soda's going to have to hurry to the middle of the stage. And now Jackpot with the Rainmaker. Let's see what they can do on offense. And here you go, Milana. If you're Jackpot, you are now down 2 members. And just like that, Crush Soda comes roaring back.
They really did not miss a beat from that. Twig and Goss are just waiting for Jackpot to fall straight into their hands. And we see Goss here with the little sneaky shark ray. It's just so much offensive power coming out from Crush Soda.
The triple link strike, Wave up top, went through the backyard last time. We'll see if they try to go through the front. Here's Thunder trying to retreat that Inkjet. Thunder able to do that. .Q running out of fuel, has to come back to Earth, and now it's 4-3 on the map. Advantage Crush Soda. Nine, here's their opportunity to add to their score.
Yep, Goss is in the right position here, but somebody snuck through there, or maybe it was the long-range shot. Again, I want to point out, Jared was able to find a tacticooler despite being all the way pushed back. There was just enough room to build it. That was the defensive resource that Jackpot once again needed. Again, folks, almost any other team in the world gives up points in these scenarios, but Jackpot is held forward, and look at this. They're going to knock out this first checkpoint.
Yeah, and shout out Leafy for the job that they did to really send Crush Soda back to their spawn. So now Jackpot, who's been down for the majority of the game, takes the lead, and here it is, a 10-point lead with under 2 minutes left Milana, it feels like the momentum is now shifted. Can Crush Soda bounce back as they try to take down a few members?
Well, they certainly will have to. They are holding on to that Rainmaker, and with 3 members of Crush Soda up, you know, specifically with Goss positioning themselves and Leafy getting a nice 2 picks on Crush Soda, which is going to make this push very difficult for Crush Soda.
Yeah, they eliminate everybody but the Rainmaker here, 9, and now if you're Jackpot, you have the lead, you have momentum, and most importantly, you got the Rainmaker.
Folks, I am stunned at how sharp Jackpot looks right now. I would go down to all 3 of those Rainmaker shots, and yet Jared managed to survive all 3. They're attacking on the right side and holding through. Twig finds another one there. That's a wipeout. Jackpot gave up an awful lot for that. They were tactical up, so they're going to be back on the defensive side. Crush Soda certainly knows that. Twig is in a position to break this open. Hits it once. Goes ahead and gets down Jared. No tactical for the time being. But the other members of Jackpot are moving up and fighting. Leafy has stalled this out once again. They are finding moments to attack Jordan.
To your point, we saw Twig advance, but that Rainmaker was still another area code behind. And so now at this point, with 45 seconds left, Crush Soda is going to have to make a move, but you got all 4 members of Jackpot out there, and this is where Jackpot really needs to hunker down on the defensive side, Milana.
It is just such an interesting thing to see 2 really aggressive teams playing, almost intertwining with each other. It's like they're going at it, they're trying to get the picks so that the rest of their teams can catch up with them.
Leafy on the right-hand side trying to go down the ramp. Leafy, down goes a member of Jackpot. Crush Soda with the trade, 15 seconds left. Rainmaker up for grabs. Jackpot doing what they need to do. 10 seconds left. Triple Ink Strike coming in. Rainmaker in possession of Crush Soda. They're trying to take the lead. No, they get splatted with 5 seconds left. Rainmaker's shield is up, and that'll do it. Jackpot making the stop at the end in 9. You felt like Crush Soda was about to steal it there. However, it was Jackpot that locked up the bank vault and secured the victory.
It's so beautiful to see the defense that Jackpot was playing that entire game of putting 1 member to attack a vulnerable part of the enemy machine, the cog, the wrench in the cog, and then at the very end of the game, what do? 2 of them Shark on top of Spinner. The whole game they've been playing hot. We're going to play cold right here. We are going to bait you into thinking that you can run straight forward here. We're going to make good on that gamble, and we're going to close it. I mean, if that doesn't tell you how confident they are in their play, to be able to make that play at that time, unbelievable, the confidence that they are playing with right now.
You see the discussions right now for Crush Soda as far as what they want to do next with their choice. And Milana, Jackpot, as 9 said, they were looking so sharp throughout that game. And you have to credit Crush Soda for what they're able to do. They almost took it at the end, but to have the confidence to make yourself vulnerable like that and then to execute like you need to save the game says a lot about Jackpot.
It just speaks to their expertise that they have been playing at the top of their game, at the top of Splatoon 3's game for who knows how long, for at least the entire year of its lifespan. But, you know, they're just so mechanically sound, and, you know, it really speaks to their teamwork to be able to trust each other, to know when is the right time to strike.
We have Splat Zones coming up here, 9. And we're going to go to Mako Mart.
I mean, where else?
Got your list ready?
Where else, Jordan? When everything is on the line, let's go to what might be the most played stage and mode combination in the entirety of Splatoon's history between all 3 games. You knew Splat Zones was going to show its face eventually, and Crush Soda has the opportunity to pick the map. They're taking it here. This is where you go when you don't exactly know where you want to go. There's going to be fireworks here, everyone fighting it out. And this is where they could start their comeback, and what an incredible comeback it's going to have to be.
And really, if you're Crush Soda here, Milana, you can't be too discouraged. You were seconds away from taking Game 2, and you gave up a big opening push in Game 1. That's it. Other than that, you have gone tentacle to tentacle here with the Jackpot. They've got to keep that confidence and momentum, it feels like. That was their key to overcoming Starburst. What's going through their mind as they now try to avoid going down 3-0?
They're going to need to take those opportunities with Goss, with Twig, and they're going to need to work together to make bigger openings for themselves in this upcoming match. Because like you said, it really wasn't the tower. It was just one push for the tower or one push for the Rainmaker that really was their detriment.
Splat Zones, Mako Mart, Jackpot, Crush Soda, 9. set the stage here.
A jet squelcher! Unbelievable! Everything that I had said about .Q's incredible prowess with the ballpoint splatling is still true, but for her to have this in her back pocket, this was a huge winner in the 4.1.0 patch because of what that patch did to the ink vac. We will certainly see that special have its say eventually, but man, those inkjets in that ballpoint were looking awfully strong. To pivot at it now, they must really be confident in what it can bring.
That'll be interesting. We saw that inkjet save so many pushes there for Jackpot. So far, Crush Soda, the opening push, they're already at 65. Here comes that ink back. .Q has to back up from the triple ink strike. Ain't got a vacuum strong enough for that though, Milana.
It's not, definitely not. And we saw how big that explosion was to be able to overcome the inkjet. But you know, Jackpot is a fearsome force to be reckoned with. We see them trying to get back the zone, and somehow Crush Soda takes it back as well.
Crush Soda dominant so far here, 9, as they're at 23, and we're not even more than a minute into the match here so far. Now control goes back to Jackpot. That's going to tack on a 1-minute penalty, and let's see if Jackpot can sort of fortify here.
Yep, and they do have a true lockout scenario here. They have everybody in their zone, and they know exactly where all the opponents are coming from. Right now, Mattis is in a pretty good spot here, but that's called out there. I can't believe Thunder found that shot. I thought that Thunder had given up trying to close out Mattis and was firing the other way, and I think Mattis thought that as well, exposing himself. Thunder playing some mind games right now.
Wow, what a shot by Thunder, and that certainly changed the tide, but here comes Jackpot taking the zone once again. Another triple link strike coming in. That's been critical, but down go 2 members of Crush Soda, and it's up for grabs here, Milana. Let's see who can seize control, and it's Jackpot once again steadying the ship.
You know, it's really hard to decide whether these players on Crush Soda are going to go back or they're going to take that 3v1 and win. So having Twig there and the Tacticooler coming out, Goss picking up the Tacticooler drink, I think this is the opportunity for Crush Soda to kind of move back into it.
Yeah, 9, this game is trending Jackpot at this point here, but Crush Soda able to pick up the zone. That's going to slow things down and buy them some precious seconds.
Yeah, and I'm actually stunned that they were able to find the zone in that scenario. They were 3 down, and Thunder getting caught in his movement. .Q is not going to miss too many of those shots. I don't think we're going to get to see another desperate push back in. They're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way, and one great old-fashioned way is just have your 52-gal ace go forward and try to close it out. But once again, you get caught in your movement too long, .Q is not going to let you get away. So maybe a small bit of a lockout that they could have gotten there. .Q gives them some room here on this side. Will now move forward with this ink back and is certainly going to have it trained on the zone.
Oh, a big splat on Jared. That'll give the advantage to Crush Soda with just over 2 minutes left, but a triple ink strike coming in and the ink back simultaneously. Give it back to Jackpot, but quickly Crush Soda takes it back, and now it's up for grabs as Jackpot again seizes control. It is back and forth here, Milana.
And we see Madness and Leafy working together to take out those members of Crush Soda. Wave barely making it out of there alive. I think this is going to be where Crush Soda really needs to get those picks, and they get the trade. And Wave propping themselves onto that snipe right there, hoping to maybe get the zone, and they get the zone with the tri-strike.
And that was huge to get the zone, because now you tack on the penalty back to Jackpot with 90 seconds left here, 9. It's all about Crush Soda. How long can you hold on? You can't give up this 11-point lead.
Well, and huge, too, because .Q had the ink vac out there. I think the only thing in the entire game that could have flipped the zone in that point was triple ink strikes, and they were placed absolutely perfectly. Now look at this. They don't have much penalty of their own to get through. They're going to start scoring closely. And look at this. They're all looking over to Goss here. That means they're not firing at the zone. Goss would love to close this out, but .Q holds serve. Only 1 point scored right now. This ink vac is going to put an end to that. Look at this. All Tacticooler, perfect positioning. That's another one down, and there's blood in the water.
The setup is there for Jackpot, but they lose a member. Crush Soda with 2 specials, but they also go down 1. Now it's the advantage for Jackpot. 45 seconds left. You see 5 seconds left in the penalty. All of a sudden, Jackpot is going to threaten this lead. Can Twig do enough to shake off .Q? 5 seconds left from taking the lead. Triple link strike coming in, and Jackpot wrestles back the lead with 30 seconds left. They've got to hold on here, Milana. 10 seconds left. Can they get the knockout? No, taken back. It's up for grabs. Can Crush Soda close it out? We'll see. 20 seconds left and 9 at this point. Crush Soda, what are you seeing from them?
There's not much left that I can see. Just 5 more seconds. They're going to go over. They're going to bag. It's Wave, and that's it. Jackpot are your new North American champions.
I know you're very excited, Best of 7. We get more Splatoon, my friend. So Jackpot gets the victory. They're now up 3-0. And I get it, 9. It is a dizzying array of ability that we're seeing. There are numbers, there are times. It is a completely different dimension we're in right now as we see the skill. But the thing is, these teams are so good, we want best of 7 for the finals. So a 3-0 lead, and Milana, as we try to resuscitate 9 here, see is gasping for air of the sheer excitement of what we've seen. How about Jackpot down the stretch here to build this 3-0 lead? They're able to handle that push from Crush Soda, and I think it was the trade. .Q, once again, didn't need to have that ballpoint splatling, was able to handle their business.
That was just so expertly played. I don't know if there was any room for improvement in how they came at this match. That, you know, even though Twig and Goss and Wave, they were getting those picks that they needed to be able to get it back, and even using those tri-strikes to cover the zone and be able to keep tacking this penalty onto Jackpot. Somehow Jackpot still is able to, you know, level-headedly get back into the zone.
9. Or should I say 5, we take a look at what we just saw here. And Crush Soda towards the end. Again, they've got to have the confidence. They controlled this game for the majority of the time. It's just Jackpot making one more play at the end, but now you're down 3-0, and that is a huge hurdle to overcome.
Yeah, the largest mountain that you can climb in competitive Splatoon, and again, they have been within striking distance of all of these games thus far. They cannot feel bad about their play, but I'm so curious, again, the way that these teams have been super jumping around when they're tacticaler, that's been my biggest takeaway as this has been going on, is, again, I thought that was a Crush Soda special, the way that they were able to survive in the fashion that they're able to. But clearly, this is something that these teams have been practicing for a long time. Again, that's one additional buff that tacticaler provides. So all of these trades, one goes a different way. You've won some of these games, but it's not a coincidence that it continues to come up in favor of Jackpot.
Thank you for giving us the meme that we will enjoy here for years.
Oh, I'm never going to live this one now. No, I will take this one to my very premature grave here. This is tragic for me.
It's okay.
But I hope you all got a good laugh out of it.
Okay, the passion is infectious, my friend, and we all know and love you so much. So we have Clam Blitz coming up here, Milana, Barnacle and Dime. First time we've seen this map here so far in these championships. What should we expect? Because this is an opportunity for Jackpot to have a sweep for this title.
I think what makes Barnacle and Dime's Clam Blitz a little bit unique is that the baskets are kind of at a very low elevation, which gives an opportunity for the defending team to kind of prop themselves up and be able to defend that Clam's basket.
Here we go, Jackpot. Can they get one more game and sweep their way to a championship? Or will Crush Soda try to stay alive? Clam Blitz, Barnacle and Dime, one of the newer stages. 9. What do you see as they make their way to mid?
Well, I said earlier that these teams were probably going to ride comps like these all the way to the end of the game, and sure enough, they have changed it. One interesting note is that Leafy has gone back over to the splatter shot here instead of the Nautilus. Has been piloting that Nautilus to great effect, but the additional mobility should be able to help here, and another Trizuka on a map like this can be awfully difficult to deal with.
Here's Thunder, and that early grab picks up the Tacticooler as well, too. You see 12-10, both teams with a power clam, and so far, neither team threatening, but again, .Q and that Inkjet. Here comes Madness, trying to apply a little pressure around the left-hand side, trying to face a 1v1. Able to escape that, and here comes the Killer Whale along with a triple link strike, so both teams letting out some specials here, Milana.
Yeah, Goss putting themselves in a little bit of a precarious situation against 3 members of Jackpot. Maybe not the best decision at that point, but you know, we really do have to make those pushes into the Clam's basket area. Oh, but that is 3 down on the side of Jackpot, giving Crush Soda a prime opportunity with 18 Clams under the belt to make that push happen.
Here's Thunder trying to make their way. Triple link strike going to buy a little bit of room for them. They pick up the power clam, and it's a completion, and that's the first 40 points. So Crush Soda, nice little opening push here, 9.
Yeah, great work by them, and Leafy managed to win that fight right there. Very dangerously dropped down onto Thunder. If Leafy had gone down, this push might still be going. Instead, they'll go ahead and defend it here, but this is a map kind of like we saw earlier with Umami Ruins, where it can be very difficult to break back into mid if you let the opponent inside, but a couple of specials and .Q's patented Inkjet will certainly help with that.
.Q going to fall back down, picks up that Tacticooler though, and so far the lead is still with Crush Soda, 3-3 on the map, and this is the early advantage that Crush Soda wanted. They wanted to build that momentum, but let's let's see here. You got the power clam coming and a little bit of support here for Jackpot. Let's see if Wave can hold him off here, Milana.
And we do see that. I think with one down on Jackpot, they're really going to have to wait for the NZAP to come back. They do have 13 clams under their belt, giving them an opportunity to maybe make a push happen. And I think prematurely, Crush Soda kind of pushed ahead a little bit too soon, giving an opportunity for Jackpot to make that push happen.
Well, Nine, we saw 3 members come down. Now there's all sorts of ink raining down and 2 power clams ready to go. Madness picks up the splat. That's 1 into the basket. Another one coming and a wipeout, Nine.
I mean, this is a lead and maybe a whole lot more. You can see there that they do have another power clam at their disposal that's coming out of spawn. Somebody has grabbed it, and you better believe that they are jumping in. Did they score it? They did! What? Unbelievable. Jared at the very edge of the reach of where that power clam would go. Scores another one here. What a response. And now Madness is still up there on that side. You better believe somebody's going to be jumping there. This is starting to look a lot like the earlier Clam Blitz game that they played where they simply did not let their opponent get back into mid.
Just over 2 minutes left. Jackpot with the lead. Don't forget, a victory would give them a 4-0 sweep for the championship. Crush Soda trying to threaten once again, but down they go. And just like that, the execution, Milana, on full display by Jackpot.
Yeah, and with that Tacticooler out, there may be no stopping Jackpot at this point. Oh, Wave getting a great pick on Q's Inkjet, and they do break the barrier, but I don't know if they're able to make much more of this push happen.
Just over 90 seconds left, and so far Jackpot not able to add to their lead. And here we go. You now have a power clam, but down goes the crap. Oh. A little warm butter with that one, Nine.
Yeah, warm butter. You know, it's fitting that they are in the yellow ink here to make that analogy all the funnier here. But look now, Leafy's move forward there. They have the resources to potentially end the game now. Keep an eye on the top of your screen, folks. They have more clams, not a power clam, but they were tacticoolered up here. If Daikyu finds a couple more of these, they are still going to have to work to fight out of their spawn, and they are able to do that for the time being with just 1 minute here, folks. Crush Soda is not super far out of this. 1 power clam and a second power clam will bring them within striking distance, but they've got to take care of business and get back into mid first.
And that's the thing. It's been Jackpot with the advantage. However, 4-3 on the map at this point. Crush Soda with the power clam ready to go. Here's Twig moving forward, throwing up that wall, trying to pick up one more. You see a little bit of help from behind. Down goes a member of Jackpot. Now it's 3-2. Here's an opening. Can they get closer to the basket? Still trying to threaten. Here's Wave. They get the wipeout. The door's wide open at this point. Can Crush Soda put it up in the basket? It's still going down.
That's it.
And the knockout as Crush Soda stays alive. Wow. How about that flurry of clams at the end? And Crush Soda said, don't write us up yet. We still want to play. And that was very, very impressive. And Milana, it just goes to show you, not only in Splatoon, but in life, sometimes you might be down 3-0 with only 45 seconds left. Keep grinding. The goal is right there, and that's what we saw from Crush Soda.
That's actually what I got in my fortune cookie today. But Crush Soda really played it so well. They got that wipeout, and that wipeout was exactly what they needed to be able to push forward and just knock this game out of the park.
So the broom has to go back in the closet. It's now 3-1, and if you're Crush Soda, you just got to take this one game at a time, Nine. You can't look at the fact that we have to take 3 in a row from Jackpot. If we can get to 3-2, that's more manageable. And again, they've shown that. It's just been 1 or 2 plays in each of these games that have gone the way of Jackpot. Well, this time, it went the way of Crush Soda.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Again, 2 of these games have been one fight going a different way from going over to Crush Soda. There at the end, you can see why that is such a dangerous map to play Clam Blitz on. If you get in the opponent's drop area, you can score a lot, but I gotta say, we got a nice shot of the players from Crush Soda after that happened. Even they looked a little stunned at what had just happened there. You saw Goss immediately stand up, headphones off, just kind of looking over at his captain, just like, whoa. You look at your hands after you've done an incredible thing, and you're just like, what power do we have? And they are finding that out in real time.
Well, the great news is it now buys them another game. It resets the game modes as well, too, because that was game 4. And so now any game mode is available if they want to. So we'll see the decision that Jackpot has to make as Jackpot loses their first game. But it's going to be Rainmaker, Milana, in Scorch Gorge here. So interesting that they go with Rainmaker. Obviously, Jackpot going with Scorch Gorge. What are we going to expect here?
You know, I think The thing about Scorch Gorge Rainmaker is that it's actually really difficult to dunk the Rainmaker into that home pedestal, that there is this one narrow alleyway that you have to kind of move yourself up, but it opens the gates to be able to see really interesting movement.
Yeah, and you're going to get a chance here, Nine. If you are Crush Soda, what did you learn from the last Rainmaker match? Because, again, you almost stole that at the last minute. That was Museum, Delfonsino, a bit of an awkward stage to navigate. Only really one way to take the Rainmaker there.
Yeah, I think the main thing that you note here is that Jackpot was able to stall a lot of great push opportunities that you had by having one member either attack behind to force the other members back, have a special at the right time, or simply send them way out of the way to go and attack the Rainmaker here. Now, that knowledge is all well and good, but it's also kind of what you do. So it's not really anything that they are not familiar with doing at this point, but maybe now they're a little more preemptive in checking where the members of Jackpot might be hiding here. Again, no tricks left on the table at this point.
It's very impressive what we've seen from Crush Soda today. You sweep Starburst, and you've taken a game off Jackpot, who many people feel is one of the best teams in the world as of late. So here we go. Rainmaker, Scorch Gorge to keep their tournament hopes alive. Can Crush Soda make it 2 in a row, or will Jackpot close this thing out? Nine, set the stage.
Well, once again, .Q has gone back over to that Jet Squelcher here, and Milana made a very good point earlier talking about how on this map there is one long straightaway at the very end uphill that you can take some points from. If you get the right place for that ink back, it will protect you all the way to the pedestal.
Leafy just hanging out in the corner, sharking, waiting for that right opportunity. Jared pops up, though, and picks off one. Jared trying to get another one. That's a nice little trade right there as Jackpot here at this point. All 4 members on the map. Here's .Q with that ink back, trying to provide a little bit of defensive support for their teammates. And Jared also just in a flurry of ink flying around left and right. And so far, Jackpot looking pretty stabilized here, Milana.
They certainly do, and this is the perfect opportunity for them to be able to make the push, but all of the specials coming out from Crush Soda. We see the Killer Whale, we see the Inkjet with the last shot on that Inkjet, getting that nice pick. Wave, this is still going to be anybody's game.
A taste of their own medicine right back at .Q, takes them down and puts the brakes on that push. 4-4 on the map, just a minute in. This is going to be a very exciting one. And here as Thunder moves forward, the advantage for Crush Soda. Rainmakers reset, but down they go right after the splash wall. Twig falls to Leafy. Triple Link Strike coming in here, 9. Is this where Crush Soda feels like they can advance things?
Well, I think they would certainly have loved to have Twig up there and not go down to that bomb. Instead, it does look like they'll be content to sit back here, try to build some specials and pick out these members. Yeah, man, you can't hide for that long. And now look at this. They are tactical up. They did not wait at all. They have immediately identified where Leafy was over there on that side. And now they are going to try to get something big out of this. Look at that laser firing, taking out Jared there. So that's all the members who took a dive at the Rainmaker to try to slow it down. They saw through it, and they get the checkpoint with just frames left.
Fouled as they were dunking it, so they're able to get that through. But now the advantage is to Crush Soda with just over 3 minutes left here. Jackpot really wasting no time, snagging the Rainmaker. They've got numbers advantage. They're moving forward. Let's see if they can make it uphill. A couple of bombs coming through here. You see that suction bomb, splat bomb. Jared trying to get there. Jared still with that Rainmaker, has to back up, pinned up against the fence, getting chased down as Thunder closes the push, Milana.
And, you know, they're going to need to take a little bit of time to kind of regroup here. But Jackpot's aggression just really knows no bound. We see members of Jackpot running into mid. Jared still grabbing the Rainmaker, somehow being able to position himself in a way that he is able to grab and dunk it.
Gets the dunk, however, they're the second team to do so, so they're down 1 point. Advantage Crush Soda at this point, but the Rainmaker still in Crush Soda territory. They're down a member and 9. Jackpot wants to keep the pressure on here.
Well, Leafy waited over and over there for players to look left, look right, and then the player who fights everybody decides to play objective at the right moment to sneak a few more points off the board, and now suddenly the game dynamic changes drastically here. Milana said it's easiest to win a fight when the fight approaches you, so they're going to be able to do that that right now if they don't opt to continue putting the pressure on Crush Soda.
A wise super jump to retreat right there by Goth. It's going to buy some time. Twig picks up the huge 1v1 as Twig continues to move forward with that 52 gal, trying to apply a little bit of pressure. Inkjet flanking, but here comes the Ink back, trying to slow things down. Crush Soda, they've already gone through the checkpoint. They've got the Rainmaker. Here's their opportunity here, Milana. They've got to be very decisive and execute.
They really do. They have to play patiently. They cannot make this push when this crab is sitting pretty on jackpot space. So they're going to need to kind of regroup a little bit, given that, you know, they don't really have any specials to move up with right now.
Rainmaker out there in the open. Twig just trying to stabilize the efforts. Inkjet coming out once again. Let's check in on Wave, trying to push the opponent back. You see all 4 members. Jackpot, they're retreating. Here's an opening 9.
Yep, the Rainmaker reset, though, means that the objective is going to be the only thing that can slow down Crush Soda. It's odd there. Jackpot was willing to back all the way up to make sure nobody could get into their spawn. Then the Rainmaker resets, and they still get into their spawn. Goss desperately trying to close out. They do.
Whoa!
They take the lead. There are points to be had right now, moving up into the teens.
Crush Soda with a huge move to take the lead. 40 seconds left, and now the pressure's on Jackpot. The crowd is going wild as they continue to push forward. Now, with just half a minute left, Jackpot, Milana, what do you have to do if you're going to try and steal this one?
You know, they can't sit back and sit pretty anymore. They're going to need to bring the fight to Crush Soda. And, you know, with only 20 seconds left on the clock, this game is going to be very difficult. It's going to be an uphill battle for Jackpot.
The most important defensive stand in their competitive Splatoon careers coming up here for Crush Soda. If you give it up, you lose and you are out. Hold strong, you force a game 6. Here's .Q. 2 seconds left. We're going to get closer to overtime here. There is overtime. Ink back coming out from .Q against the Killer Whale. Trying to move forward. Here's the Rainmaker. All 4 members of Jackpot. They can try to see victory in front of them. They have to get nearly to the base. Overtime still going. Jared's still alive, trying to be pushed backwards. Here comes some more suction bombs. Triple Ink Strike going to help out as well, too. Let's take a look at Wave. Wave has to come down also, and that's it! Crush Soda takes another one, and here comes game 6-9. How about the poise by Crush Soda with their backs up against the wall once again?
The poise and the understanding, too, that, okay, they don't have that Inkjet anymore. They've got an Ink Vac that they can use to protect. They have one Trizuka, and Jared is the one that's carrying the Rainmaker. We don't even have to worry about Tacticooler anymore. Every single one of these fights that they take, they are going to be playing so patiently because they know every time they take one out, that respawn is going to take too long. And you called it the most important defense of their Splatoon careers. Well, they've earned the opportunity to make another one. And may I just say, if Crush Soda wins this, I may never be able to put on this headset ever again.
It's all good, my friend. Milana, it's crazy because for Crush Soda, we said before, they were about a minute away from being done, swept. Okay, you win one, great. You got to win another one. You're down the majority of this game, yet you rally back with an unbelievable push and then do it on the defensive side.
Listen, we talked about it in their first set against Starburst, that once they build that momentum, it is near impossible to stop a team like Crush Soda. So utilizing that momentum, utilizing maybe even the adrenaline to make these aggressive pushes, make these pushes happen, that's what we love to see from Crush Soda.
So now we get set for game 6. What mode will Crush Soda go with here? Their options: Clam Blitz, Splat Zones, Tower Control. Again, you cannot repeat stages, so the options are starting to get limited here for Jackpot as far as where they want to try and claim their Game 4 victory. 9, if you're Crush Soda, is there a game mode that you're leaning towards? Because right now, you're just thinking about, we've got to force a Game 7. You force a Game 7, you put all the pressure back on Jackpot.
Yeah, frankly, I think that it's less about which mode you like and more that you have the power to not let it go back to tower control. That has been Jackpot's mode for as long as Jackpot has been a top competitive team here. And realistically, the Splat Zones game got away from you. It was maybe 1 or 2 fights going there. But I think that even as good as Crush Soda is, they can't take this one back to tower control. They cannot let go. And it appears that the voice in our heads has told us that they are, in fact, not headed back to tower control.
Clam Blitz, Umami Ruins. And this was the game that they won here, Crush Soda. Game 4 to stay alive. And Milana, obviously, as 9 pointed out, you're avoiding tower control. You don't want anything to do with it. Let's hold off Splat Zones for Game 7. We'll deal with that when we get there. Crush Soda's got to feel very confident here.
I mean, we've seen them play on this stage. We've seen them play Clam Blitz on this stage, and they just know how to make that comeback. Even if they're down, they're never out, and we don't want to count them out.
So as we get set for game 6, now if you're Jackpot, you're thinking, all right, we've let a couple games slide here. How do we really just get back to what we've been doing, that high level of execution that we saw? And as we get set to take this on, also shout out to Barry on our spectator view, giving us a wonderful view of all the action that's been going on this tournament. Barry, the best in the biz, so thank you for all that. As we follow this action, this is turning 9 into quickly one of the most memorable matchups we're seeing here. Crush Soda trying to do the reverse sweep here, down 3-0, already having taken down Starburst. This is something people are going to talk about for a long time, regardless of what happens in this game.
Yeah, already Crush Soda has proven that they deserve every bit to be here, and that the crown is not so easily won. And sometimes teams in the past have made it look easy to win. This is proof again that the level of executional skill and play is higher than it's ever been. People are better at Splatoon than they have ever been, and it's only going to continue down that path.
All right, Nintendo Live, you ready for game 6? Here we go, game 6, Jackpot versus Crush Soda. Can Crush Soda make it 3 in a row and force a game 7? We'll find out on Umami Ruins. As we see the players getting ready to super jump onto the map. 9, you see the weapons at their disposal. What stands out?
Well, 3 of the weapons on each team are exactly the same. The one big difference is that they're letting Leafy go back to the Nautilus, and of course, we don't need to say anything more about this 52 gal for Twig.
Feel the tension in the arena as Crush Soda has now quickly won over this crowd, but down goes Twig, an early inkjet from .Q and Milana. They go back to the Trident.
You know, maybe they felt ink back not really working, but we know that we can get the splats that we need with an inkjet, so why not go back to it?
Leafy picking one up as well, too. You see the point sensor identifying the targets, and down they go. So .Q already, the early MVP, has that power clam ready to roll. We'll see if Crush Soda can back things up and fortify their defense, but 13-2 clam advantage. That is exactly where you want to be if you're Jackpot 9.
Yeah, they've got the claim advantage, but sometimes that can mean that you have to play a little bit more passive. Look how long they've spent shuffling this around. They're not going to pass it over to Jared here so that .Q can use the inkjet, and well, I think you see why. Almost took out Wave there in the other inkjet as well, but all the while they lost track of Goss, who goes ahead and blows one out, not able to get Madness on the other side. Crush Soda has done a fantastic job of defending their doorstep, but if these find some value here in triple ink strikes and get rid of Thunder, they might score, and they do.
Madness sneaks in there with the power clam. That's going to go ahead and give them the early advantage. A couple of more clams being snuck in there. They've got 2. They're knocking it down to 71. Obviously, 60 is the main number you're trying to get to on that opening push. Let's see if they can hold it off. You've got a couple of members of Jackpot still hanging in there. Let's see. In 71, not bad, Milana, but that leaves the door open for Crush Soda.
It does. And you know, Jackpot is really giving Crush Soda a taste of their own medicine. This is exactly what they did to Starburst in their last set. So, you know, being able to see these top teams compete at this level is just so impressive.
What stands out to me, 9, is how quickly Jackpot is snatching up all the clams here, putting the pressure on Crush Soda.
Yeah, that's such an important part that we really haven't talked much about. When you have that long of a sustained piece of mid, it means that you have picked up a lot of the clams, and if you've either tossed them around, tossed them off the map, or even if you simply get taken out, it means that your opponent is not going to be able to build those up as they go about taking back mid.
You get the sense here, Milana, that Jackpot is just winning more of these 1v1s and out-executing Crush Soda when it comes to just aiming and getting the splats, and we haven't seen Crush Soda really threaten Jackpot so far.
No, it really is a very neutral game right now, and I think both teams are feeling the pressure of this 3-2. And I
triple splat!
And this is going to break this game open for Crush Soda.
Oh, but down they go, and that was timely. One power clam comes in. Thunder with another one. Thunder gets it in. Crush Soda takes the lead with just over 2 minutes left, but that's a wipeout by Jackpot, and they get the gift of the so-called pity clam that'll spawn here shortly. So with 2 minutes left, we said it last time, 9. Can Crush Soda play defense for 2 minutes to stay alive?
Oh my goodness, this is gonna be unbelievable if they manage to pull this off. They gave up an awful lot to get that. They gave up mid control, and you can see already Goss down here. Jared manages to get away. They are on the doorstep here. Thunder cannot avoid .Q. Watch out, they don't have much to go for the lead. They've got more than enough clams. They'll take it right back.
The lead goes back to Jackpot with over 90 seconds left. They build a 7-point lead. That's going to require some effort from Crush Soda. Crush Soda just has to stop the bleeding at this point. They do. Now they've got time for maybe one more coordinated push that can really close the deal here if you're Crush Soda. But they've got to execute here, Milana, and this is what we've seen from them. They execute when they need it. Can they do it when the stakes are at their biggest?
And with that tactic cooler out, they may have an opportunity to be able to get the picks on Jackpot, but Jackpot is holding steadfast in the middle of this map, making it difficult for Crush Soda to make this happen, and Thunder trying to not get picked off by Q's Inkjet, and unfortunately going down. And this is going to give maybe Jackpot another opportunity to push back into their base.
How fitting the Inkjet from .Q might have saved the game for Jackpot. Now they've got the resources, they've got the approach, they're staying alive, and the numbers here. 36 seconds left, 9. What are they looking to try to do?
They are going to stall this out as long as they can. Unless Crush Soda goes 2 or 3 down, they would love to score, to go into overtime and end the game right then and there. That's what they're going to try to play for, and they've had to back up here. Too many members of Crush Soda are attacking them. What a crucial mistake. One of the few unforced errors we have seen in this set from Goss, who goes down to a wayward bomb.
14 seconds left. Both teams with a power clam. It is coming down to this. Crush Soda now has to play offense to stay alive. Triple Ink Strike possibly coming in. You see the splash wall. Twig trying to retreat. Here comes Wave with that Inkjet. Going to have to be precise. We are headed to overtime here. Who's going to be the first one to strike? Can Crush Soda find a way to make their way forward? Here comes Twig with the splash wall. Is it enough protection? Here comes the Killer Whale. Is it going to buy some time? Twig right there. Twig goes down. There goes the wipeout, though. And let's see what's going to happen here. That power clam's going to dissipate. It looks like Jackpot might close this out, and that'll do it in 9.
For the second time today, Jackpot are your North American champions!
Down the stretch, Jackpot does what they need to do, and they come rallying back. They stop the reverse sweep, relieve the tension, and save the day as Jackpot wins 4-2 over Crush Soda. And how about Crush Soda and the job that they did? Milana, 9, why don't you talk a little bit more about what you guys saw down the stretch?
You know, I just love seeing this camaraderie coming out. You just see the absolute elation coming out from Jackpot for winning this tournament. A lot on the line, right, 9?
And, you know, after the last North American Championship, there was a great chance that this Jackpot experiment wasn't going to happen at all. They were sayonara at the time. They weren't sure if they could reform. They've got responsibilities in life too, college, jobs, things. It was really just by one last, almost ring of fate that they decided to try this Jackpot experiment out one final time. I mean, you can see it right here. They are holding on to the championship. 1, 2, 3.
Just what a beautiful sight. Just the peak of youth right here.
You know, I can't help but notice there's only 2 people at our desk right now because one other member, Jordan, up there on the stage with our champions. Jordan, when you're done giving them hugs, let's see what they've got to say.
How about Jackpot, your champions? Give it up for them one more time. Your Splatoon 3 Championship 2023 winners. Madness. What does this mean for you guys to get the victory here? Obviously, you fought Crush Soda. They were really rising to the occasion. They knocked out Starburst. They rally against you. What were you saying to each other as you got set for that Game 6?
It means so much to us. We've been practicing this whole summer to make it here, and to win it feels absolutely amazing. Our main goal was to beat Starburst since we lost to them last year, but winning the whole event, it's amazing.
It's awesome to see how excited all 4 of you are. You have the Golden Judd, Lil Judd that you can hoist. You have the custom-painted Nintendo Switch Pro controllers. And you guys have won an invitation to the Splatoon 3 World Championships in Nintendo Live Tokyo. Jackpot heading across the Pacific to take on the best of the world. Give it up for them one more time. A momentous occasion. The champions, you see the tears in the eyes. Well deserved. Thank you for the show. Enjoy it. Jackpot, your champions of the Splatoon 3 Championship 2023.
It is an honor to be here at Nintendo Live Seattle. Man, just the first Nintendo Live here in NA.
I'm telling you right now, this is what Nintendo Live's all about.
I feel like maybe I've overpaid.
We're going to be kicking off the Super Smash Bros. Squad Strike Challenge.
He's definitely controlling it at the moment. It looks like it's gonna do it. E! Let's go ahead and give a huge congratulations, William!
He is your Squad Strike Challenge champion of Nintendo Live. I mean, who doesn't love Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
We've got Squash, we've got Adon, we've got Yoel, we've got Keibo coming off of a win in Boston. I mean, these are 4 competitors who have come to win today.
Well done to Kevo.
And our champion is Kevo at the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Championship 2023 on Nintendo Live. Give it up for Kevo, everybody.
Give it up for Kevo.
Give it up for Kevo.
It's all about to go down right now.
This is it. This is the final countdown here on Corneria, the up smash from DDT going up stage. And don't forget, you got the little battle.
Oh my God.
Oh wait, everybody evacuate. And here it is. The shot. Is this going to take it here on a large blast on the side? It should.
It is.
3 done. Ended. Ladies and gentlemen, practice.
Out of nowhere, coming from an 0-1 start, digging himself out of that hole and to the top of the mountain to claim the championship here for the Amiibo and Me exhibition.
And the brother and father up on the stage with Practice, the whole family coming up to celebrate.
It's the Nintendo versus Splatoon 3 High School exhibition.
It's going to be O'Day on the left side and Bishop Blanchett on the right side.
But they have only a few more seconds. Necro going to try to dive, but there's no room. And after 5 incredible games, Bishop Blanchett closes it out in Clam Blitz on Inkblot Art Academy. And they are the winners of the Nintendo versus Splatoon 3 High School exhibition.
As we get set for the Splatoon 3 Championships 2023, 4 of the freshest and finest squads face off.